Really?
Yeah. You know what? Maybe I'll just look at someone else's bracket.
Okay.
Or, yeah, I don't have a perfect one.
Hmm.
Do I need paper?
Yeah, I mean, I'll update as things update.
Okay.
Ooh, okay, we're on. Okay, we're live.
Really?
All right.
You know what? Maybe I'll just look at someone else's bracket.
All right.
Someone turn down your.
Come on, Bill.
Yeah, I don't have a perfect one.
Tommy, do you have one?
Paper.
I'm still. I kept my. I wasn't sure if like once I filled mine out, if I would be able to.
Okay, we're on. Okay, we're live.
Really?
Whoops. All right.
I'm hearing somebody's. Yeah.
That was my bad. That was like a third dimension. We're on YouTube live.
All right.
Hey, everyone.
Yeah.
I'm torn because I have my final four, and I have my final five.
Yeah.
And my picks were.
I got to where I got to, but I was like, this is all going to change.
Yeah.
I got nothing.
Also, that's a great question. Where's Bill?
I
need that sound clip of
my people are here.
Bill. Oh,
gonna have me some fun. Those Predator videos, by the way.
Oh, thank you.
I really want to watch Predator now.
No,
you're gonna have me some fun.
I should have me some fun.
You're gonna have me some fun. Hey, Mads, what's up, dude? Yes, we're waiting on Bill. Bill's the elder statesman of the group.
If I click live on YouTube, is that gonna?
I don't think it'll mess it up.
Oh,
I'll send you guys the link though.
Yeah,
I got it. I'm watching it live on YouTube.
Tommy's got it. All right. I don't need to worry about that then.
Cool.
Hey, everybody.
Hey, everybody.
Hi. Hope everyone's having a fabulous evening. Tommy and I have had a great day. I was just telling Chase who we got to interview today.
That sounds great.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun. I got to get them thumbnails from Tommy so we can publish that stuff. So seriously, do I need to get some like a pen and paper here?
I mean, if you want one, but I've got it all set, so I can.
I can't see anything, so
yeah. You might need to do it the old-fashioned way.
Mm-hmm.
Although I'll text. Let's see.
Ooh, some good team names here on the leaderboard.
There's some good team.
Where do I? Okay, there's a lot of. Dang it! I think I screwed myself by not submitting my bracket in time, with wanting to be able to see all my picks. And then so I just lost it because I refreshed it. So.
No.
Let me. Yeah, right. You can have. Let me text them to see if they can just open it up and you guys pick it really quick.
Where do I see the
No, that's okay.
bracket?
I'm just gonna go in blind here.
Okay, so if you log in dashboard and you just click Bub's Natural Greatest CrossFit Games Event Leaderboard.
Yep.
Click that. The whole leaderboard should show.
Okay.
But right under the Bub's Naturals logo, there's the perfect bracket on the left and your team on the right. You can say view perfect bracket. But I don't know if that's going to come up if you don't have a submitted team.
I don't.
Yeah, I don't see it. I don't see that. It just says my team name, but.
And 0 points.
All right, hang on.
I award you no points.
And may God have mercy on your soul.
On your soul. All right.
How's everyone on YouTube doing? Hey, Jeremy. Barclay.
I award you no points.
Oh.
I'm here for this. I'm just going to man the soundboard.
Look, I'm not going to say the Predator videos were the only thing I had up my sleeve for this.
Ooh.
But I'm hoping I got something for you guys that's really going to make it worthwhile.
Oh man, I'm going to apologize right now if I'm. Oh, you see, I'm going to be a little distracted. I'm watching the Kings and the Ducks. Ducks just scored. Quack is whack.
Is that Anaheim?
It is.
The worst.
2-1 first period. 3:14 to go in the first here. It's all right.
I'm going to blast this out real quick to our.
Cool show.
Bill does know we're in at 7:30, right?
Jeez.
He's here.
That is not here.
That's not Bill. I'm hearing someone else.
That was me.
Oops.
I'm gonna share this bad boy.
How things going there with get with the programming there, Chase?
I think good. It's been fun, except for when your co-host doesn't show up for the episode you've been talking about for an entire year.
What a loser.
No, it's been super, super fun.
I'm excited about this. I have some strong opinions about some things.
Ooh.
Hey,
You are Masters athlete.
you have a watch?
Oh, that's me.
Do you have a
Watch? It's 7:30, bro. What are you doing? No. Oh my God. Okay. Okay.
Man.
Hurry up. Bye.
It's fantastic. I love everything about this.
Louise. I thought it was at 8.
Oh.
Have you watched any of the videos that I've been posting out for the last week and a half?
Jackie Moon, man, multiple times it said 7:30.
It's oh, you know what it did? It did say 8 o'clock on the Jackie Moon video if he was just listening to the audio and he
There
didn't.
you go.
Oh.
Don't see the master's mind is a fickle thing, Chase.
Well, everyone, thank you for joining us. We are waiting impatiently for Bill Grundler. Oh yeah, the deadlift for Chase Foundation. That's fantastic. Is that you, John? That was one of my favorite names on the board. Although that foundation does need to start. Video. He was just listening to the audio, and he
There
didn't.
you go.
Oh.
There
Don't see the master's mind is a fickle thing, Chase. All right, I'm not going to stream that. It's going to.
Well, you just hit mute.
What?
Just
Can you
hit
hear me?
Yeah, just hit mute on your website.
That's complicated.
Refer to Master's comment that you just played.
Yes, exactly.
Again. No, you just go to the.
What channel is the Netflix, Chase?
Just hit the sound thing and you hit mute so you can watch it the whole
Just
time.
settle.
Ooh, fantasy finishing. All right. It says we can load our brackets.
Yeah, you guys should. You guys can pick your brackets now. We open it back up.
All right, now I got comments. This
okay.
is fantastic.
Oh, you can comment now.
No, I can see the comments.
Oh, okay, got it.
Great people on YouTube.
Michael Britton, yes. Bill
Mads is all right.
Mads.
Mads T. Who else we got? Chris, Chad.
Well, it is 8:30 in Arizona, but Bill is not in Arizona anymore.
All right, do I need to like log out and do this again here?
No, you should be.
No, I mean for the bracket.
No, if once you logged in, if you just hit dashboard, there's an option. There's 2 options now underneath Bubs.
Yeah, you should be able to pick your bracket.
Okay. Set Bubs. Okay. Well, I'm not going to set it. So I'm just going to sit here and watch it, right? Because that's going to fill in.
Christina, there's no such thing as an old 30-year-old. You can make it. I believe in you. I know it's late on the East Coast and really, really early in Australia. For those, who is it?
Yeah,
From
good morning in the Southern Hemisphere.
5 a.m., 5:30 a.m. So thank you for getting up early with us. Sophie.
It just makes me so happy that Jeremy Austin is here.
Is he here?
Yeah, Jeremy Austin's in the comments, man.
16 hours. Oh, dear.
Hey, what time does the 7:30 event start?
Oh, my goodness. Oh, Bill. What's up, dude? What do you mean, what's up?
What can we get for Bill here? Trying to find a good.
Tommy, I like your flowers.
Thank you. You know,
When is your birthday? Is your birthday tomorrow?
It's Wednesday, right?
Wednesday.
The 10th?
Wednesday, I officially joined the ranks of Masters.
Come on in, bro.
Yeah, 35.
Water's
What I'm curious what Bill was doing. Was he like in his leisure suit or?
No, he legitimately thought we were starting at 8.
Ah,
I thought he was the
I'm
one
like,
who originally
when
selected like.
At what point in time? Because we'll just shit on him until he gets here. That's what you get. Like, at what point in time did you think we ever said 8 when every single thing I sent you to post and you reposted said 7:30?
yeah. Okay.
Must be that he's on that slow time. Huh?
Mm-hmm. Oh, there you
Hey.
go. I love it. Yeah, I see what you did
Come
there.
on. I know the nicknames.
San Luis
Okay.
Obispo, SLO, and slow.
and slow. Pre-gaming. 1:40 p.m.
Well, can we get where are we starting? Can we just maybe start talking about where we're gonna go here? Like how this is gonna work? Can we?
Yeah.
All right.
Well, I can get it going.
I can't. I'm just looking at some of the seeds on here.
Have you submitted? You got to submit before we start.
No, I haven't submitted.
Okay, well then you got to submit before we start.
I thought I was doing this live. I thought it was part of the exercise here.
No.
No, you have to do it now.
No, you can make your own bracket right now.
Bye.
This is the most like Masters live stream I've ever.
How did Sean get 100%? Well, he just filled it out as we made our picks.
Okay. Yeah.
What is everyone drinking? I'm looking at the live stream posts. People talking about
being
beer.
Hawaiian time. That's good.
I'm just gonna fill this out because I know which one I got winning the whole thing.
I got mine, and I have the perfect bracket pulled up side by side, so I'm ready to go.
I never got the option for. Okay, hang on. There.
Oh. Bill's probably like, why would you send me a link for the episode 45 minutes ahead of time?
Yeah, that's early.
I'm loving all it. Thank you, Emily.
Man, oh boy, you're making me choose between those two.
Come on, bro.
I don't even know what that event is.
Irish coffee at 10:45.
Yes.
I'm trying to think if any Patrick drinks of choice. I don't know, guys. Take a look at my bar behind me. I don't know. I got a lot of whiskey here. I'm trying to decide which one.
Tommy, I'm going to send you a photo of my whiskey bar in the old household. Of course, I'm not here. I have a actual bucket. Of assortment of
ice cold drinks. There you go.
It's the most disgusting bucket in the gym, but I had no other bucket to choose from. So I just think if they don't touch the sides, I'll be okay.
There you go. That's
that, or I'll get a superpower. Who knows?
Someone asked what's in my decanter. It is a wheated bourbon. I think it's Larceny Barrel Proof. Is in this one.
What did I have last night? Redemption Rye last night?
Redemption Rye.
All right, my bracket is submitted.
All right, Sean's in. You guys are listening and you couldn't submit a bracket. You have like 5 seconds. Water may drift off.
Yeah, that's a good. All right.
Yeah. The struggle is real for Sean.
It is, man. I can't smart today. I have the dumb.
Spotted Cow. Someone's a fan of the old Madison beer.
Hey, at least I showed up on time, Chase.
I am not complaining at all.
All right. Thank you for that.
At all.
Let's see.
Okay, we got I need to look at my perfect. I got to go back to the dashboard now, right?
Back to the dashboard.
I got to go back in.
For those of you guys watching right now, if you want to watch the main bracket.
There we go. All right, now I'm in. Okay.
Go to leaderboard and you should see a tab that says view perfect bracket on the left. If you click that, it's an empty bracket and that will get filled out as we go through this. Can't smart today.
I have the dumb.
You know what? I know what I'm going to have to drink tonight.
What is it going to be?
I'm learning.
So I made a custom blend of whiskey.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So if you take these two guys right here, these are two wheated bourbons, Weller 12 and Weller Antique 107.
Okay.
If you mix them in a 60-40 percentage, you basically make a poor man's version of Pappy Van Winkle.
Okay.
I didn't understand any of that.
Which is like one of the most sought after bourbons right now. So you get your own. I have my own custom label. Hey!
Oh my God.
So
I just want to say I'm sorry, guys.
Good Lord.
It wasn't complete just buffoonery on myself. I was coaching, but I thought I'd get back here, and I honestly, I don't know if it was the Will Ferrell clip that threw me to the 8 o'clock to the 7:30 or what it was, but my bad. I apologize to everyone and you guys.
All right.
Okay, so here's going to be the flow. we're going to start the podcast as we start all podcasts.
Let's do it. Oh,
we're going to bring in you guys and we're going to party. I got something a little special. I try to do something special
I'm
for
gonna kill my mic.
Okay, yeah, I bring in something special for all guests on the show. All right, Bill, you ready?
Oh, dude, I'm so ready.
You turn that down just a tad.
Me?
Yes, sir. All right, everyone. Bill is here. It is time for the ultimate Mega Games episode.
Dun, dun, dun.
Bill, you ready?
Do it, my friend. Do it.
3, 2, 1. Welcome back to Get With The Programming. I'm Chase Ingram.
I'm Captain America.
And along with me is Bill Grundler.
Wolverine.
But Bill, we are not the only ones here.
No way, man. No way.
Only ones here. I'm so excited that we have some special guests on the show. And I can think of no better way to introduce them than a little something like this.
If I'm going to do this, I'll need my news team at my side.
News team, assemble! News team, assemble!
Ladies and gentlemen, Talking Elite Fitness, Sean Woodland and Tommy Marquez is joining us for the mega episode. Gentlemen, I hope you liked your introduction.
This tremendous.
What's going on, Ron? We've literally just been
I'm
standing
speechless
right
right
here.
now. That was
Hey, Ron, what do you want? Hey, Chase, what do you want?
Hey,
We've been standing here the whole time.
the whole time. Oh, Bill, hey, by the way, we've been literally standing here the whole
I know
time.
you have been. I know. The call was for me. I got it. It's okay. Okay.
For those of you guys that are listening and haven't been on YouTube for the last 19 minutes, we have been waiting for Bill Grundler to arrive at the 7:30 start time that he thought was 8 o'clock. I guess he wanted.
Oopsie-daisy.
Oopsie.
It happens.
Before we get started, I want to say cheers, gentlemen. Thank you so much for joining the
Man,
show.
I wouldn't miss this for the
Oh.
world. Man. Come on.
Yeah.
What do you got? Is this your homemade concoction you just said?
Yes, this is poor man's Pappy Van Winkle, my own homemade whiskey blend.
It looked like you were gonna drink your whole bar there. You got bottles all over the place.
You know,
Hey,
Bottles on bottles on bottles.
hey, I'm a collector. You know,
I'm going Mickey Skinnies. It's open week,
Ooh,
so, you know, I got
Skinnies.
a little light in the cows. It's maybe my last beer for the next 4 weeks. So, oh man. Well, hey guys, thank you so much for joining us. This
Thank
was
you.
something we when we started the podcast, which our anniversary will be in 9 days.
congratulations.
Oh,
I know, 1 year.
That's
lovely.
awesome, man.
But this was surrounding why we wanted to start the podcast was, okay, we want to go through all the analyzing the programming of the CrossFit Games and get into the details. We're like, hey, at the end of this, let's just make a round robin bracket style elimination and figure out the best CrossFit Games of all time with all subjectivity involved.
Out the window.
Argument as we can. Yeah, we're going to take the statistics, push that aside, and just bring in some emotion.
Absolutely. Let's do it.
Argumentative starts. But as we approach the year, you guys just passed a huge milestone. We said on our last podcast, 5 million downloads. You guys are going on 2
Insane,
plus
you
now.
guys.
Or
So
3?
badass.
I think 2.
This is year 2.
past
We
2 plus-
started end of 2018, right?
Right in about January.
So
Yeah.
our first episode published the week of Wadapalooza 2019. So yep.
Yep.
We had 2 episodes post then. I want to say it was around January 12th was the first date that we actually published. And so yeah, we're about 26 months, I guess now.
Man, I remember when your first episode released, me and Bill were actually rooming together at Wadapalooza, and we sat up and listened to the whole thing
Yep.
that
Well,
night.
thank you.
But you guys just passed 5 million downloads, which is just mind-boggling. I can't even think. So I just want to say congratulations. You guys were a huge inspiration of us, getting our ass off the couch and getting into the game as well. So thank you to you guys for being here, and just thank you for being the voice of reason that we all needed at the time. So.
Oh man, totally.
Voice
You
of
guys were
something,
definitely
though.
needed.
I think we were just upset and bitter, and we just wanted to have a group therapy session. That first episode we recorded twice, actually. The one that didn't air was.
Yeah, I remember you saying that.
A little too negative, I think. I want to dial that back a little bit.
Let's bury that deep down where no one can ever find it.
Never bring it up again.
Yep.
Yeah, but like that, I mean, that's the coolest thing about it is it ends up just being some good talking. I know, like when me and Chase do our thing, half the time, like we'll have Jeremy from Australia hit us up all the time, and he'll be listening to the podcast and he'll laugh at things that we said, and I'm like, dude, I don't even remember that. Like it's just conversation half the time, you know what I mean? And it's very therapeutic. And for where you guys were at that, especially at that point. Oh man, that was, I mean, I'm glad for you guys. You guys had that and you're able to find that. I know for the people out in the CrossFit sphere, they needed it because they didn't know anything that was happening. It was really nice to have some familiar voices that were
thanks, man.
Some reason there for sure.
We were just trying to just stay relevant. That was, I mean, honestly, that was it. We were just trying to be like, hey, let's just do something. And then when this thing gets going again, maybe someone will pick us up. And it was never supposed to go this long. So
we felt the same way during quarantine because this was our quarantine thing. I had Bill and I was like, I've been talking about this for years, but I've been telling myself that it's a dumb idea, which I never know. And everybody goes through that, right? You already shoot yourself down like nobody's going to listen. It's not going to be anything, but it was anyways, you guys were massively inspirational, and congratulations on 5 million freaking downloads.
Appreciate it.
That's unbelievable.
Well, listen, you guys do a hell of a job too. I really
exactly.
You and Bill, you're always entertaining and give great insight on stuff that I know nothing about, like programming. People ask me, like, is that a good? I don't know. I mean, you do some fitnessing and then you're good, right? I mean, I don't know if it's good programming. So yeah, you guys give some really good insight on that.
Appreciate it.
I was asking Chase last night for a scaling option on a workout, so he set me straight. So.
Yeah. Did it work? Was it okay, or was it?
That did the trick.
Yeah.
when a workout gets a selfie picture, you know that it was a good one. So I didn't know that went down, but I saw the selfie picture with you and the hound dog.
Those are he comes out with me and works out at 9:30 p.m. because that's when I'm getting it.
Awesome.
In now, so.
All right, so here is what we are ready to start. We are going to get through our mega episode elimination bracket of the best CrossFit Games event of all time, but we're going to set it up how we picked it. So I forced Sean, Tommy, and Bill to pick their top 40 CrossFit Games events for them personally, but rank their top 10, 1 through 10. Once we got everyone's 40, I put them all together and then ranked everyone's 1 through 10 on an average. So say if everybody picked Burden Run, but it was second, fifth, seventh, and third, then the average is fourth. So we put them in the 4th seed, or I don't even know where they are right now. I haven't looked at the bracket, but that's how we came up with our ranking system. And then ones that had all 4 votes but not ranked were below that, 3 votes out of 4 below that. And then really what was tough is when I combined them all, we still had 75 different events between the 4 of us.
It was so hard.
So I had to cut it in half, and Bill's like, no, make it 64. I was like, do you have any idea how long event bracket will take?
And that would have been how we started on time.
Geez, oh man. Yeah, we'll be here till 3 in the morning because of me.
Hey, look, it's 10 o'clock here. So I think we're But so that's how we got our ranking. What I'm curious though, before we get into it, just to see where everyone's coming from, is how you guys picture events. Because I feel like everyone's coming from a different place. Either they were there in person, they actually saw it on ESPN, or they watched it later on YouTube, or they have no idea what it was. Sean, I'll start with you. Is where were you coming from when you picked your top 40?
Tommy and I were talking about this earlier today. So I didn't really look at it from a programming perspective because it's, that's not my expertise. So my thing was, how did it look? What was the spectacle of it? Is it something that, assuming I could do all the movements, would I want to do it?
Okay.
And did it have some cool, memorable moments? But I was more kind of just concerned with the spectacle of it, how, and the fan experience. And then, I haven't had the opportunity to experience them as a fan, but just sort of my reaction to a lot of these, either on the desk or in the booth. So it was more of like a visceral thing for me.
Yeah.
Not necessarily about the programming, although, yeah, we'll get into that. So that's basically how I looked at it.
Tommy, what about you, Tommy?
Yeah, it's we were very fortunate. We got to watch a lot of these play out in real time. One of the major differentiators for me was the broader implication that workout and the performances that were put forth had on the competition. So there were moments that were, phenomenal. Like we saw some epic results and some awesome performances by particular athletes that were inspiring. But some of them at the end of the day, I think get lost because they're not reflected accordingly on the leaderboard because of what they did for the overall standings. And so that there was a fine line for it. That was more often the tiebreaker for me. So I get a couple of them like, you know what, this one had a little bit more meaning to, someone's overall story arc as an athlete, or what that season meant to them, or maybe this set them on a different one in particular. This workout set them on a warpath, or, and it was like, that's something that I think when you can trace back historically, certain workouts carry a little bit more oomph, and that really went a long way for me.
The little threads in the fabric there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Bill, what about you?
Well, man, we have our whole show that talks about programming. So I'm definitely a numbers Nazi, I guess, when it comes to the way things are laid out. And as much as I appreciate the races and the excitement on some of the races and the way certain things played out, it's hard for me to get into that. So I start looking at each one of those events as we talk about this all the time, as like this little sculpture, and what does that sculpture look like, and how does it play into the overall test, as far as, was it a valid test, and what did it look like when it did that? There are certain events that I feel are important to our sport as a whole.
Mm-hmm.
Not just there was a really exciting race that happened on the floor. And so there are things like that played into mine. And I have been known to be a purist on a lot of things, and I think I am on this as well. Just, when some of the events started coming up, I automatically was like, dude, really? That one? Come on. Just because that's my, I know that's my purist kind of coming out of me. So I think mine was, what events really tested the goal of fitness and what was important to our sport as a whole.
Cool.
Yeah.
I went total fanboy. And I'm
There you go.
And the coolest part for me is that, when we all worked together at the CrossFit Games, like Tommy, you're on the desk. I usually did teams. So I had front row seats to every individual event. I mean, I sometimes would do the early heats, but I had front row, like 50-yard line in the Teta Stadium with my legs hanging out of this like box, and just being able to watch the greatest moments in the sport's history live and in person. So I fanboyed the hell out of my picks. So,
you gotta do that, man, because we have to look at it the other way all the time. Like, you gotta go fanboy on this one.
You're a full Rich Froning cosplay outfit.
Dude, really.
Just
or anything else, and a lot more hair, but full Rich Froning cosplay.
Galatians tattoo and 2011 Oakley shades and everything.
Like when he wears Captain America pants, it's like, bro, you ain't that tall. Come on. It works. I'm 6'15" for a reason. All right. Well, that's how we got to where we got. What do you say we get where we're trying to go?
Let's go there.
Like this candle.
Look, I know Sean Lake's on here. Bubs Naturals is on here in the comments, guys. Here's what's going to happen. If we tie, because earlier Tommy was talking about tiebreakers, you need to go pull up Bubs Naturals Instagram account, and they're going to put polls where we tie.
Oh, nice.
Within 2 minutes of us getting stuck, we're going to select the majority rules vote.
Boom.
Go to Bubs Naturals Instagram, have that handy. And whenever we come to a tie, they're going to post up a voting that you guys can just click one or the other, and that will be our tiebreaker. So that's going to be our interaction we have with Bubs Naturals, who's sponsoring the show. Just want to thank them again for being a part of it. And by the way, Sean Lake, who's on the comments section, you can thank that man for the StubHub Center. If you love the tennis stadium, as we all do, the only reason we got there is Sean Lake.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yes.
That was
Seriously. Huge.
So thank you for the tennis stadium, and thank you for Bubs, because that shit is awesome.
amen to that.
All right. Without further ado, the Mega CrossFit Games Elimination Bracket.
I got to sharpen up my forearms for this one.
Goosebumps here.
Totally.
Oh. Ooh, I'm ready.
I got
Let's do
goosebumps.
No, seriously. Okay.
All right. We are going to start top down. So we will start on the Talking Elite Fitness side. Now, this isn't our bracket versus your bracket. It's just
Regions.
Regions.
Okay.
I'm not gonna lie. I feel like you could track down a full-grown male African zebra right now. Just like my pupils are dilated. I am ready. I'm hunt mode.
Oh, that soundbite is a performance-enhancing drug in and of itself.
Oh.
All right, round 1 versus 16. We have First Cut versus Chipper. Now, Chipper is from 2012, I believe, Tommy.
That was the down and back one, right?
Yes.
Down and back,
Yep.
overhead squats, box jump overs, fat bar thrusters, power cleans, toes to bar, burpee muscle ups, and then back down the line where everybody finished on their
And First Cut is a 1 seed.
and First Cut
Hell
is
yes, it's a 1 seed.
400
Here we go. We're already going to get after it right now.
4 in a row, a run, 3 legless rope climbs, 7 squat snatches at 130 and 185. This was the infamous First Cut of the 2019 CrossFit Games. Sean, would you like to lead us off?
I mean,
Your first
look. So the fan in me, when I think about aesthetics and the way it looks, I got to go with the Chipper just because it looks better. It was on the tennis stadium floor. At the time, it was like, I remember when they announced burpee muscle ups, there was this collective gasp, like, oh, you never that's a crazy movement. Who would ever do that? It's impossible.
Yes.
No, that was easy. But just from a look standpoint, I'd give it to that. But everything else, as far as the efficacy of the event and what it was designed to do, I think First Cut was pretty perfect in what they needed that event to do.
Yeah.
I don't think it was as fun to watch as the Chipper, because you had just this massive humanity out there, and you had athletes just like staring at a rope and failing the barbell left and right. And it was just so from a viewing experience, again, I don't think it was. I'd give it to the Chipper, but everything else, I think I got to give to First Cut, just because what that event needed to do was. I don't think you could have come up with a better event.
It was the most high-pressured, anticipated event of all time, and it delivered.
Yeah.
So do we just jump in on this, or are you moderating us as we go through person to person on this one?
We'll go, Tommy. You're next.
Okay.
Tom.
Sean, did you pick Chipper or First Cut?
I'm going to go first. I'm going to go First Cut.
Okay.
Yeah.
Even though, like I said, I think that is a 1 seed that is rife, like just ready for an upset. Like I would not put that number 1, but I think in this case it beats the Chipper.
Right. First Cut for Sean.
So First Cut to me is the mid-major 1 seed, the Gonzaga of the tournament that just dominates.
Good. There you go.
Dominates their
What
team,
Tommy said.
But the thing is, if they get a couple favorable matchups and get a little run into the Sweet 16, then you start to realize, okay, this team's got a little bit more to it, because that, at that first glance, they don't have the nice sponsorship, they don't have all the extra, ACC, SEC deals, but I think that they're very, very elegant in their simplicity, and that's why I'm going to give it to First Cut, because when I think about what Bill said about his criteria as far as like what being a purist, you know, and that classic CrossFit, and then actually doing its job in what it was designed to do to help find the fittest in 2019. It's hard to say there was a more efficacious, I guess is the word, workout than First Cut. Not only was it simple, but it also, for a lot of people, and you know, this is some people, a lot of people felt that there was a good portion of the field that did not deserve to be at the games, and that highlighted that, because there were athletes failing like those rope climbs and 185-pound, you know, snatches, where some of us at home were like, well, I can kind of do that, you know, and you know, I think that was a very tough needle to thread, especially with everything that was going on. And as much as I enjoyed the Chipper, it was a Saturday night event in 2012. Julie Fouché, Rich Froning both won those going away. And they were one of the early primetime workouts. I still think First Cut just knocked it out of the park.
Yeah. Bill?
First Cut all the way. And here's why I say that. I mean, obviously, like for the things that Tommy was talking about, the purpose that one event had basically was the most important event that has ever been programmed. There was so much riding on one single event, having to get through all those people at one time. And I think as far as the spectacle goes, yeah, it wasn't, I mean, it's really hard to beat any event that's in the tennis stadium. I mean, like everything's right there. It's so easy to say, you're so close to everybody, but it showed exactly how good our athletes are versus the regular good people that are out in the world. We had, I mean, how many people was it? 200
we
people.
had like 100 of those lane 9 athletes we've been talking about.
Right. Yeah. So, you know, the fact that you had athletes that were making it to the CrossFit Games that couldn't climb a rope, I think that it was good to see that, so that you can see you can see the Matt Frasers, the Ben Smiths, people just crushing that. You can see the people that have like, oh, okay, maybe they're good in their area, but they really don't have any business being here. And then you see people like Pat Vellner, who are, you know, big, massive names in our sport, that are all of a sudden failing reps because of what this event is. I mean, it had weightlifting, it had gymnastics, it had our Metcon, you know, movements in it. It was a complete workout. And if you had to use one event that had to test anything, I just don't think you could. I don't think you could beat it. I just think it is amazing.
All right. Well, I think we're going to have a sweep in the first round, because I picked First Cut as well. And I'll be short and sweet. I'm a sucker for the weightlifting monostructural gymnastic triplets. I think it's the most quintessential way to teach or tell someone what CrossFit is. Basically, I just described Helen, and that's your nuts and bolts of CrossFit. This was just a super loaded Helen, right? 400-meter runs, legless rope climbs, and snatches. So First Cut, it is decided. First Cut will move on, and we'll move to the next. We'll go to the 2nd and 15th seeds. So scroll all the way down to the bottom. Ooh, we're getting things right off the bat. We have Chaos versus the Standard. Now, Chaos was the unknown event where the athletes came out, and it was ski, erg, burpee to a target, overhead squats with a dumbbell, pistols, really high box jump overs, and then that snail slug drag at the end, where everybody finished the ski erg and went right to the dumbbell, and then they're like, no, back up. You have to. The infamous Brent Fikowski, Matt Fraser target. And then the Standard was the final of the 2019 CrossFit Games, which was the basically Grace into 30 muscle ups for time into Isabel. You know, while I have you guys, me and Bill have been very annoyed that 30 muscle ups for time is not a girl workout. We got 7 new girl workouts, and how is 30 muscle ups for time? Now, what would you name it? Because we have our opinion.
Yeah, I haven't gone that far.
We wanted to call it Brig.
I was like, yes, I agree.
I call it Jane.
Jane?
Because she's Tarzan's partner, and it's there's a lot of swinging through the jungle gym there.
That's good. There's a G.I. Jane though.
Yeah, there is.
There is a G.I. Jane.
We want to call it Briggs.
Briggs would be a good one.
I think Briggs has earned the right to have a.
Yeah,
that was us. All right, so we have Chaos and Standard. Tommy, you will go first. Bill, and then Sean.
You know, in 1993, the opening round of the NCAA men's basketball tournament featured a 15-2 seed pairing. The mighty Arizona Wildcats, the 2 seed,
Bear down.
facing against the lowly, snuck in through the WCC tournament, number 15 seed Santa Clara Broncos.
Oh, no.
Here's a Homer story.
I take it back.
But little did Arizona know, there was a young Canadian man on that team by the name of Steve Nash.
Oh, wow.
Future NBA Hall of Famer Steve Nash.
Wow.
And that one player changed the course of Santa Clara men's basketball history for about 6 months until they returned to insignificance after that. But they upset that 2 seed, only also to lose in the next round as well. But all that to say, I am taking the standard over chaos, because in this instance, I think one moment from the standard outweighs every single implication that chaos brought as a workout. I think that one moment when Noah took his shot, tried to get off the muscle-ups too soon.
Yep.
Matt just kind of calmly walked up to the bar. I think if you could have seen I joked about this with Sean, if you could have seen their heart rates in that moment, Noah was rocking like a 180 plus, and that was at like a cool 75 degrees, just a beautiful Southern California day, and just calmly said, step aside, son.
Yeah.
And I think that moment alone to me is like one of those moments that, like, despite all the craziness of 2019, despite all the stuff that I didn't agree with, there was one pure moment of Matt Fraser proving he's the fittest. And that was that moment capsuled into like 30 seconds. And to me, that's why chaos gets upset, 15-2 upset for me.
Wow. Has anyone been upset more like that than Arizona?
Probably not.
Oh.
And my brother went to Arizona and I went to Santa Clara. So
Oh, really? No way.
Yeah.
No, both my parents went to U of A, and I was born in Tucson. So it's always tough.
Yeah.
But I can always thank Mike Bibby for that one championship.
Yeah.
All right, Bill.
I actually really liked both of these events. I thought that they were the standard. I remember hearing about the standard from way back when I did the first road trip with Dave Castro and Rob Orlando, and they were talking about, I wonder if you could do Grace and then do 30 muscle ups and then do Isabel like as one workout. I wonder what that would be like. So I've known about that event for a long time. It's kind of swirled around a little bit, but I have never seen an event like Chaos. And it's hard because I don't really necessarily like the movements of the event, but I just loved the fact that no one knew what the hell they were going to have to do. And so I honestly, for that reason alone, the fact that we were able to put something like that in there to test people in a completely unknown scenario. I mean, 100%, you had no idea what you're going to do. None. And I think that was pretty cool. So I'm going to go Chaos.
All right, Sean.
Yeah, I agree with Bill. This is the best event bracket, not the best moment. That moment that Tommy talked about was fantastic. Like, it was
totally.
And there were a couple of those moments that I would argue helped really salvage the 2019 games.
Yes.
But Chaos, if you guys remember, was on national television. That was the event that they wanted on CBS.
Yeah.
Right.
Wow.
Because it, and I go from the viewer standpoint and the spectacle of it all, it looked fantastic on that field. And you mentioned the first cut when, Chase, you were going to explain CrossFit to somebody, you would, Helen or first cut, monostructural gymnastics, weightlifting. If you were really going to explain the essence of CrossFit, you say, watch this event. They don't know what they're going to do, how many or whatever, but they have to be ready for the unknown and the unknowable. And then Dave had the wherewithal to have that event finish with a really cool race to the end, which he's really good at, doing that, race down the floor. And talk about cool moments. I remember when Amanda Barnhart got on that slug, she passed 7 or 8 people.
Yeah.
I mean, her slug wasn't even loaded. So I'm going Chaos. I just thought it was on national television. It looked great. It was fun to watch. That one will not be upset in this opening round.
Yeah. So, Sean kind of already knows where I'm swaying, because as much as I, like the quintessential monostructural gymnastics weightlifting as a what is CrossFit style event to describe or elevator pitch someone on the old elevator, the unknown and unknowable element of that purity of a test, even though some things may have been weighted or not weighted otherwise. I really thoroughly enjoyed chaos for that one. So I think 3-1 chaos. It is decided.
Boom.
All right. Moving up to our 3. Let's see. 1, 2, 3. Where is he?
We got the 314 matchup.
314 matchup. Now, okay, I'm curious about this one. We have Midline March versus Strongman's Fear. Now, Midline March was that first event on Sunday in 2014 where it was GHD sit-ups, handstand walks, overhead walking lunges. I don't know if that's the particular order that he was, but that was when Rich started his, Tiger Woods like red shirt Sunday, where he's building off the year before. We had never lost in 4 or 5 events, but Midline March was just such a cool way to start. And then there's Strongman's Fear, which is one of the more unique tests that we've had, which was 3 different strongman elements. You had what are those logs called?
Slater logs is what they
Slater
call them.
logs, which were insanely heavy, a yoke, and then a sled. You could pick any 3 to go down halfway the football field, handstand walk back to get another element, and then you walk them all back towards the end. And Bill, I'll go to you first because I think you might have a different opinion, way to look at it. But I'll let you go. Strongman's Fear or Midline March?
All right. I actually think it's interesting that both of these got paired up because they're both kind of weird events. Weird movements, unique movements, ones that we really haven't done a whole lot. Midline March with, so much of the weird dumbbells that we had to use on that one, and the way that it was supported, and it was just an odd one. Strongman Fear, I wouldn't have thought they would have put that one together, but I loved the race on the Strongman's Fear, and I think just the fact that it had big pieces of weight that were being moved, the way it was being moved, it was almost like they were moving box cars around between the yoke and the Slater log and all that. So I really like the Strongman Fear. I have to just no real in-depth thing other than I just liked Strongman's Fear. I just liked the event. I just thought it was really cool. I didn't like the fact that it was choose your own adventure. I will say is I know that's why you said that on here. And I as much as I have issues with that, because I think that a race should be a race. It should be the same setup and all that. But there weren't that many differences in Strongman's Fear to where the race pretty much looked the same anyway, that you really couldn't change it up all that much. And so I just thought it was better. I just liked the way it looked better.
All right.
So yeah, sorry, I foiled your little plan on that one.
I know. I was curious where you're going to go because there's so many weird ways. I'm going to look at this. I even think I picked Strongman's Fear, but I'm going to go Midline March because for me I just got to sit there in the stadium outside of our little green room in the soccer stadium, and it was first event, so there wasn't a whole bunch of people there, and I'm just sitting there watching Rich do what he did versus everybody else and just pumping up the crowd at the end. That was oh my gosh, he hasn't won it yet, but that whole way it's set up, Strongman's Fear was so much fun to watch, but I just have more of a reaction to the Midline March. So I'm actually going to go Midline March. Sean.
Okay. I'm going to go Strongman's Fear. It was one of those events where they took 2 things that just should not go together and made it work, where you had handstand walking, which was if you're a strong man and you're used to, that's your sport and you're used to moving these heavy objects, there's no way you're doing that. And if you're somebody who's really good at handstand walking, there should be no way that you're moving these heavy implements. And I actually like the fact that it was choose your own adventure, because it was the first time that there was an event that it was hey, what, however you want to do it, maybe the sandbag move, I guess you could
call the sandbag one. Yeah.
But it was that first sort of an extra element of strategy layered into it. And if you watch that, if you knew nothing about CrossFit, and you watch it, you'd be this is nuts. How are these guys moving this heavy weight? And then they're walking on their hands back and forth. So I thought it was a really good viewing experience. It was a cool spectacle. Looked great there on the field. So yeah, I'm going Strongman's Fear.
All right, Tommy.
Man, I will say this. I think Midline March got done dirty by the rankings. I personally think it's higher than a 14 seed. You know, they're like back in the days of the Big East tournament in the NCAA in like the late 2000s, when like the top 5 seeds all could have been 5 seeds themselves, like top 5 seeds themselves, but because one of them had to, you know, go 8-8 during their conference, they ended up getting like a horrible seed.
Yeah.
But I'm ultimately going to go Strongman's Fear.
Okay.
This one was close for me. This
Yeah.
one was really close for me. I'm kind of with you, Chase, on that iconic, the shot. It almost looked like it was from the stands of Rich, like dropping the weight, like with those weird plates on either
drum
side.
plates. Yeah. Drum
just
plates.
like stepping up. And that was like, okay, you're in it now. This is like what that flow state for you looks like. But then again, Strongman's Fear, to me, that was the workout. I love it when we take like some other discipline and do something where they're like, I can do that. And then you throw that wrinkle in, they're like, I can't do that. Yeah. That's what's different. And that's like, to me, that's like part of what sets CrossFit apart. So, and I think it's the closest ever finish for 1-2 in an event by the overall 1-2 in CrossFit Games history. So the overall 1-2 at the games, finishing 1-2 an event in a race of that match, 9/10 of a second is what was the difference. And to me, that was like, you know, the one of the Matt Fraser moments from that year. It's like him collapsing over that pylon.
Yeah.
Or is it pylene? I don't know.
I think it's pylon.
I'd say pylon.
When it's falling as a pylene.
That was a joke. That was a joke at Bill.
Right oh yeah. It's like Benedict Cumberbatch trying to say the word penguin. I don't know if you guys have seen that video. Look it up. It's great.
100%.
On Blue Planet, penguin. All right. Okay, so I believe it will be Strongman's Fear moving over midline March. That was a tough one. It wasn't easy for me to pick the other one. And we move to another tough one. Now we have the 413 seed instead of the 314 seed, and that is Legless versus the Triple G Chipper. So Legless was it 27, 21, 15, 9, thrusters at 95 and 65, and then 4, 3, 2, 1 legless rope climbs?
I believe so, yes.
Yeah. And then the Triple G Chipper, 100 pull-ups, 80 GHD sit-ups, 60 pistols, 40 cal row, 20 shoulder overhead with a 100-pound and 70-pound dumbbell. I guess I'll start.
You take it.
As much as I love a good chipper, because I wasn't Brent Fikowski-like, but then again, Brent Fikowski was not Brent Fikowski-like in the Triple G chipper either.
Actually, kind of was.
In Triple G?
In Triple G, it was not his event. Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Like, it was not a very Brent Fikowski. Therefore, Triple G is not really one of my favorite chippers in the world. But Legless, for me, it was the whole buildup of Legless. We had this in one of our Rush Moment episodes. Like, I remember walking into the stadium, seeing Rogue assemble this rig of like cubes that were 12 feet high beams. I was like, what are they making? Is this another 12-foot high killer cage? And then I saw the ropes and I was like, okay, are they going to Tarzan swing? There's like 4 blocks here and then some space. And then they pulled the rope and it stopped 6 feet over the ground. I was like, oh, we're going to do something different. And just the spectacle of it and the finish of it. I mean, we said the Matt Fraser diving over the pylene to get to the finish line, but the Jordan Tran premature celebration of Oregon track days to was it Marcus Hendren that dove across? Rich Froning and Josh Bridges was in the earlier heat. So it was just the Legless event in the tennis stadium at night. I'm going Legless. Let's see, Sean.
Yeah, I'm with you, and I got to give Bill credit. He actually called that when we were trying to figure out what it was. Bill, if you remember, you're like, I think they're gonna make him go legless. I'm like, there's no way there was no way they would get that. It's not gonna happen.
It was the weirdest. It looked like a damn UFO on the floor with that thing, man. Seriously.
And, so that credit to Bill for that one. But I think for me, like everything that Bill or that Chase said, plus if you remember, they sang the national anthem, they shot off the fireworks, and then the buzzer went.
Oh yeah,
it was awesome, and it was under the lights, and you had that great finish where it's like you said, Froning's looking at Troyan, they're all going up the rope and at the same time and trying to get across the finish line. It was fantastic. It was like I love those sort of first time events too. Alessandro Pacelli was doing the hip and no one was like, how is that happening? So yeah, I love legless. I think that one's going to go deep in this bracket. So I'm going legless.
Tommy?
Yeah. This is another one where I think legless was undervalued here at a 4 seed. Yeah. There are a few times where I can look at the layout of the floor, and I think that alone was imposing before we even knew the test. And that was one of them. I half expected the floor to open up, and it was just like rabid alligators in like chomping underneath them. To me,
release the lions.
Yeah. And like when we talk about the run in 2013 might be my favorite games programming year of the year. And like when we talk about the legend of the Saturday night event at the StubHub, that's a cornerstone of that for me. Yeah. And that's where that really started to take off, where the experimental side matched up with the adaptation of the athletes on the fly. And that was a workout that reset what was demanded of the athletes from there on out. And to me, this is legless by 15, 20 points.
That's a
all right.
Yeah.
Bill?
Go over at halftime.
I will say I really liked the Triple G chipper. I liked what it was. I think it was pretty fun to watch. I think it was a little long, and then when you back it up to something like legless, which is very quintessential CrossFit. When most people think of CrossFit, they think of Fran, and that's thrusters and pull-ups, thrusting and pulling, and that's exactly what this is. It's just another version of that. And that's one of the things that we've talked about in our shows, is that there's always that element somewhere. And this was a really interesting way to be able to get people to do those two movements. And I mean, not only was it ominous to look at before he came in, and you're right, when we were on the floor trying to figure it out, the first thing that popped in my head was American Gladiators. I want like Nitro up there, swinging from the ropes, getting wrapped up, or trying to knock people off. That's what I was thinking about the whole time. And so I'm going to have to go with legless. It was fun to watch. The races were amazing because they really pushed themselves to where people would fail with one rope climb left to go or two to go. There was a lot of pressure on that. So it really ramped those athletes up to where they were riding that red line all the way through. It was a great event to watch, fun to call, fun to see. It was a good one.
All right. First round sweep for legless.
I want to say one quick thing. I think Triple G chipper got hurt by its location in the programming slate. It was in between the snatch and the assault banger, so it wasn't the premier event that night in the stadium, and it just followed the 1 rep max lifting event. So I think a lot of people just forgot it.
Yeah, that actually makes a lot of sense, man.
But it was still beautifully programmed.
Still, yeah. It
like
was
programming. That's why, like for me, like I like that one. Like I look past. That's the purest part. As I look past all the fanfare part, and I was like, but look at it, 180, 64. It's so beautiful.
Look at that push core pistol core push. Sexiest thing.
We're getting sensual here.
Now, beer number 2. All right. Now we move to 2 events that are starkly different time modalities. We had the 512 seed between the marathon row and the sprint O course. Sean.
Oh, I love the marathon row, and I love it because it was one of those events that when it came out they were going to do it, I was like, this is good. This is going to kill people. We're going to be here forever. But then there was the challenge of how are we going to broadcast this? Like, this is just going to be people sitting on rowers for 3 hours. And so the decision was made that we'll just do kind of regular updates, and we'll leave that scoreboard up. Remember they had like the boats.
Oh, the little boat race.
I think they had like a multi-camera view that people could just watch, and then we popped in every now and then. And as we got going and we had like a lot of people involved, I'm like, we can do this. We should do this whole thing. This is awesome. Like, keep going. Like, don't. And we had a replay. I remember Mike Roth like showed the pass on the scoreboard. And like, we're just entertaining ourselves at that point. We're like, what the hell? But I thought that was such a brutal test of, not only obviously just physical prowess, but mental prowess to just sit there in the same spot. You were not allowed to have headphones or anything like that. I think Camila Blanc-Bazinet had Dave Lipson was in the stands with like a computer, and she was watching Beauty and the Beast or something.
No way.
He was watching a movie. That event to me just it's highly underrated. Like I really thought that would be a kind of a throwaway, but then once they did it, I was like, that was awesome. And then you saw Margot Alvarez finish the way she did. And I think it was Adrian Moonbladder who won that. It was just like this great moment where they came. Was it Adrian Moonbladder who won that, or
Lucas Esslinger?
Lucas
Esslinger.
Right. Yeah. When they got off the rower just to celebrate that, and then the deals that were being made amongst the athletes, like, hey, you're not going to come get me, are you? Because I'm settled in here. Love that event. Great test. That one, it's Marathon Row going away here.
All right, Tommy.
I agree with a lot of what Sean said there. The media effort that I felt like we came into, like what we could have done there if we needed to, was emboldening. But I do think one of the things Sean touched on at the end there, there are a handful of events in CrossFit Games history where it becomes the athletes versus the test, where they band together and they're just like, okay, we're in it. We're in pockets, whether it was Pendleton and people grouping together.
Okay.
In this one, the deals that people were making were like, okay, we realize that this crazy guy has a lot more in store for us the rest of the way. And we're going to kind of make these deals to understand that we're fighting the test at this point, and we're not really fighting each other. We're not going to fight each other here. And I also think that one of the gutsiest performances that barely anybody heard about was Alessandra Pacelli cramping up from her from her basically rib cage.
Yeah.
Her quads, her hip flexors, every one of her abdominals started a full cramp at the halfway point. So she rode a half marathon seized up basically just with her arms, and she still finished under the cap. And like that, I could not believe that.
Wow.
When I heard it and I saw her afterwards, and kind of, she's so understated, she wouldn't give away much. And when I realized the gravity of like how much pain she was actually in, she went Terminator mode for that just to finish. Wow. And that was super impressive. And I think like seeing all those athletes, like they were all settled in. They had each one of them had like their like overnight bags for summer camp to go out to that event. And it's nothing against the Sprint O course. I just think there's a better version of it out there. And I think the Marathon Row was a little bit more impressive in that regard.
All right, Bill.
Yeah. Sprint of course was cool to see, but I think as far as one of the things I think CrossFitters get nailed on all the time is that you don't really see them go long. They're these strong guys and girls that can do these crazy gymnastic type things. But here's something that is we all row, but this is very niche-y. No one plans. I've never heard of anybody planning a marathon like themselves. Groups would do it or whatever. And, we had the half marathon and everyone was like, wow. But this particular event, for everything that Sean said, it was one of the most fun events I have ever called. I had so much fun with everyone during that. Like it was so long, and we were able to be so much more relaxed during it. And then the things that we got to see happen to the athletes, like there were so many stories going on during this whole time. I mean, just like what you're talking about, Alessandra Pacelli, the deals going on with Cole and Pat and Brent, watching Ben Smith get up and all that pee just drop off of him. I mean, just like looks like he got up out of the pool. Probably one of the most, at least from that year, one of the memes that I saw on a regular basis is Steph Chung. The whole who just farted? Who farted over there? I can't go anywhere, and you're farting right now. Like that whole thing.
Yeah.
So many good things. Like I just think that event was great for so many reasons. And you're right, Sean. I think it's way underrated for what it actually is. A massive test. But there were just so many things attached to it. Marathon Row all the way.
Well, you guys all had a personal story to it, and that's the only reason why I didn't pick Marathon Row. Because what I did is I left the tennis stadium, went to the hot tub at the hotel we were staying with Brent and Rogo, and started drinking beers and texting shit to Bill the entire time. So I didn't watch it. I didn't see any of that. All I did was I did it, I think 3 years. I did it last year. I did the Marathon Row finally. And I have no idea how Lucas Esslinger stood up and was like, I'm done. Because I just keeled over.
Yeah.
So I will pick Sprint O course just because I didn't really watch the marathon.
Like, I'm not gonna watch this for 4 hours.
I'll be honest. So you guys all had good stories, and the one was like, yeah, I didn't really watch it, and I did it, so I don't like it. So that was me. All right. So Marathon Row will advance, and we'll go down to the 6 and 11. And it is, excuse me, Killer Cage versus the Beach. Now, the Beach was the opening event of the 2014 games, where it was the 250 swim, thrusters and burpees in the sand, 500 swim, thrusters, burpees, 250 swim. That is the Beach event. And then Killer Cage was the front squats. It was 7 front squats, like was it 225 or
225, I think. Yeah, I think it's 225.
225 monkey bars, 50 feet down, 50 feet back, and then a watt bike cows for, was it 3 rounds?
Yeah.
Tommy, you can lead it off. The 6 and 11, the Beach versus the Killer Cage.
I'll be brief. I made a mistake here. So,
oh no,
the Beach is actually one of my favorite offsite events, just because I think it was one of the first to like really blend other, it was one of the first to actually force people to swim, like open ocean swim fatigued.
Yeah.
In that regard, I was thinking of 2011 when I picked this. I picked the Killer Cage because I think just from an implement standpoint, that was amazing. We saw some cool performances by athletes. Its one drawback for me was that the watt bike never showed up again. And we took a gamble on an implement that just never showed up. I picked Killer Cage, but I'm willing to concede that.
All right, Bill?
I'm going the Beach, 100%. First time that we actually had swimming and actually doing some work on top of that. So a fatigue swim was huge. And even though the Killer Cage was fun to watch and all that and good races, doesn't touch the Beach.
Okay. I'm going to go with Killer Cage. Because for me, I had no job really that year. So this is 2011. And just seeing that setup, I'm a fan of the monkey bar activity myself. You know, I was quite the chicken fighter back in the day. Probably not as good as Tommy. I didn't quite have the leg reach that. Go gadget foot, and
once I get these getaway sticks around you, it's game over.
But the spectacle, the races, the Josh Bridges running down Matt Chan, or the Akinwale unbroken, the only athlete to do that for both the men and the women's side, was Killer Cage. Was one of my favorite events I've ever seen in the tennis stadium. Sean.
Yeah, I agree with that. I was in the crowd. I was in the stands for that. And you know what? Honestly, I think that before that event may have been the first time I ever met Bill.
Oh, was really? That when it was?
Yeah, I think it was. It may have been that one. I think it was.
Cool.
So a little funny story there, but yeah, I mean, I remember that, like the monkey bar part when it was Elizabeth Akinwale. I think didn't Dan Bailey do the same thing where like he turned around?
Dan did it once. I think Matt tried it twice, but failed on the third.
I thought Dan pulled it off, where he like turned around and there was this huge gas from the crowd.
He did it once, but Akinwale did it every time.
That was, I remember that was awesome. That, and the problem for me with a lot of the offsite events and the Beach event is that just from a spectacle standpoint and a viewing standpoint, they're kind of hard to follow at times because you get into the water and there's no way to identify athletes. You know, you're like, I think that's so-and-so, but you don't know.
Yeah.
But watching the Killer Cage, it was just a cool spectacle. And yeah, I'm going, it's hard to beat anything in the tennis stadium under the lights, man. That was a great event.
You don't know the pain of calling a team rescue swim event.
Oh, man. Yeah. When there was when there were still 6 people on the team.
6 people surrounded by a yellow.
All
sled.
That is that's just like a riot.
It looked like a bunch of 4-year-olds playing soccer.
Yep.
There's just like mob ball.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All right. So Killer Cage will advance, and we move to the 7-10 matchup of the rope clean event versus Pendleton. Now, there was a couple 1-2s. I just put Pendleton together. So if you picked 1 or 2, I made it the whole thing. So rope clean was 2011. I believe this was our first event in the tennis stadium, and it was the rope climb event, and everybody was waiting to see if Rich figured out how to do rope climbs. And it was it 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 of rope climbs, and then ascending clean and jerks from like 135 to 225, and then 95 to 145. Yep. And then Pendleton was swim with fins. bike, road bike, and then who knows the distances? I don't think anybody knows.
I don't
the
remember.
distances.
There was a short
Still-
sprint first, and then that long run was the last.
Yeah, and there's
was
like
the
a
two.
two-parter, but it was basically a
Yeah.
triathlon at Camp Pendleton, the Marine base. That was outside San Diego.
Yeah,
Yes.
it's
Right
just
area.
North San Diego. Microwave Mountain was the mountain that they ran up.
Yeah.
I almost oh man, I almost ended Josh Everett's life.
I remember that.
Stop breathing into the phone. I'm gonna lose my job over this.
My gosh. Okay, so rope clean, Pendleton. Bill, it is your turn to start.
I'm gonna go the rope clean. I mean, as much as I really love the Pendleton and I love all the stuff that we got to do on the broadcast side, and I love the triathlon. I love throwing that into the mix there. I loved what the rope clean was. I loved what it looked like. There's a ton of stories that we've talked about on our show. That's actually one where I emceed on the floor. I got called down from the booth by Tony Buddy. He's like, Bill, you need to go on the floor. I'm like, oh, I thought I lost my job at that point before it. But I loved what it was. And you're right. There was a lot of the story stuff, like with Rich, watching Spencer, who's like one of our big weightlifters, go in and fail lifts. The story that you didn't like about, the story that you didn't like about Rob Orlando, who wasn't allowed to, he got kicked out because of swim, and he got out there, got to the 225 and started repping out it out. I'm gonna go with the rope clean. I thought it was a great event. I love that look of an event. Is awesome.
So I am a fanboy, but I'm also very sports petty. I'm a big fan of sports pettiness. I think it's the favorite thing about sports. I hated Pendleton because they gave him fins, and as a swimmer, I was like, "This is grade A bullshit." It is absolutely ridiculous. I like the rope clean one. It was fun to watch. It's really fun to do. It still holds up. Totally. It's more of like a dead touch and go sprint these days. But rope clean, the way it was all set up, I'm going to pick rope clean. Sean?
I'm going with Pendleton on this one. There's so many good moments and stories and memories from that event.
There really are, though.
From the, and look, the rope clean was, like you said, Chase, I think you framed it perfectly. It was that event everyone was waiting for because they wanted to see if Rich could climb a rope, and he demolished that event. I mean, left everybody in the dust, and that was the
no rep.
The first inkling that you had is like, oh, this is a different athlete who's now going to destroy everybody. I mean, it was clear he was on a mission at that point. But Pendleton for me was because it was like the first time that I think they really went off site far away. They found the perfect locale for it. I'm not a swimmer, so I don't care about fins. They could have gotten arm floaties. I would have been fine with it. But just from the beginning, like the morning at the hotel to the end of that day, there are so many great stories from behind the scenes from the event itself. That are like, I'll never forget Ben Holling's house coming up to me in the morning, and I'm sitting there just having my coffee at breakfast. I'm like, oh, it's 3 a.m. And Holling's house plops down. He goes, I feel like a bag of dicks. Yeah, that's a good way to put it. And it was the longest day of my life. I mean, we had gators catching on fire. We had people, we didn't know if we're going to be able to, we broadcasted on a conference call. You had, newbie Captain Arson had to go to the hospital. It was just poor Chris Spieler lost his wedding ring and was cramping up on Microwave Mountain.
I forgot about
it's one of those events that will live in infamy for me because there's just you could write a book about everything that happened.
Totally.
You really could.
And whereas the rope climb, the rope clean event, great event, great test, cool memory with Rich, but to me it just doesn't hold the same visceral reaction that I get from Pendleton.
Personal value there, man. Personal value for sure.
Yeah.
Right, Tommy.
I'm torn because, well, I don't know. I have a lot of memories about Pendleton, but not a lot of them are great memories. I almost got fired like 5 times on that event alone. I was responsible for finding a solution for the walkie-talkies and the conference calls. And I maxed out my credit card at Best Buy like that morning when they opened because people needed extra batteries. And Josh Everett didn't have a working phone that took conference calls, so I had to give him my phone only for him to breathe into the phone and almost get me fired. Again, I was responsible for taking someone on a gator. Dave Castro took my gator. People couldn't get to where they needed to. That was like this close. That was like my moment where I was like, I don't know if I'm going to make it. I might not make it past this event. So despite all those fond memories, I'm going to go with the rope clean. That is, it was just, to me, it was like quintessential Dave Castro when such an infamous thing tripped up an athlete the year before that right out of the gates, the first event in the stadium. Well, let's see if you patch that hole. And when I think about the event, and I mentioned this earlier, the event where everyone knew for sure Rich's reign had begun. It was that event. I remember him finishing the clean. I was in the media pit that lined the floor. I looked and I think it was Rory and Tony Budding at that point. I turned to him. I was like, this is over. And they're like, what? I'm like, it's over. He won it right there with that clean. It was the silverback gorilla walking out into the exhibit, letting one roar, and everybody knew who's who in the zoo at that point. And so for me, it's rope clean.
Well, I think a lot of athletes have that one moment you can kind of pinpoint. I think Dave said in the documentary that it was the muscle up clean event for Tia Toomey and how she did that. But rope clean. That will advance 3-1, and we come to our last one on the Talking Elite Fitness bracket side, or district, or what is it, region? The Sandbag Sprint. So the hill sprint from 2009 versus the muscle up biathlon from 2014. I think it's my turn. So I'll go first and I'll make it sweet. I think the hill sprint is one of the most nastiest, painful events ever programmed at the CrossFit Games. And it has one of the most historical places, videos, everything behind it. But the muscle up biathlon for me was one of the more unique, fun, just that. And I told this to Bill. We had a story in this. I think Roy didn't like my story. It's like, this was the first time the crowd booed at the CrossFit.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yep.
That's right.
Julie Fouché no repped and everybody booed. And I was like, hell yeah.
Yeah.
Now we're a freaking sport. None of this good for you, good for me. This community bullshit. This is sports. Screw you. Screw you. Now the bullshit call boo. Sports pettiness takes the stage. Biathlon. John.
Yeah, I agree with everything you said, man. Hill sprint, great test, brutal test. Not a blast to watch, though. It did the job, and it will always be remembered as one of the simplest, most difficult, most just diabolical tests that Dave has ever devised. But the muscle up biathlon was a blast to watch. And like you said, it was the first time I remember a crowd at a CrossFit event booing. And I went, oh, people are into this now. All right, here we go. We're booing referees, and this is great. So yeah, I'm going muscle up biathlon. I just thought it was a cool, creative little event where you had the penalty where you had to run. It was a little hard to follow at times, but it was cool.
Tommy?
So I have a feeling I'm going to lose here with my pick, but I'm going Sandbag Sprint solely because in the video of it, I watched Pat Sherwood seemingly die when he got done. And that man has been the root cause of so much physical pain for me over the years with his programming that I feel like anytime I have a bad day, I just come home, throw on that highlight. I got a hyperlink to the exact time code, and I just watch Pat toil in the dirt of Aromas, and everything seems brighter. So for that personal story alone, I'm going the Sandbag Hill Sprint.
Well, when you see his programming and you want to be like, who hurt you?
Exactly.
Now you know the answer.
Now
the answer is the hill sprint. That's
the first year of my first year of CrossFit. I ran that hill every day. That was my home gym, and that has a special place in my heart. I think one of my lights just died, so
yes, it did.
It just got a bit darker.
Now we got some mood lighting.
Yeah.
Bill.
All right.
Tommy, I got you, dude. Sandbag Sprint. I like the muscle up biathlon. I like it. But I just for what to say that the Sandbag Sprint wasn't fun to watch. You saw badass athletes turn into Gumby legs and just quiver themselves up this hill, and it was fast, it was furious, exciting, and you're right, painful, ugly, devious, simple. Sandbag Sprint.
All right.
Take
this
that.
is our
I
first
take issue with that.
tie. We have the Muscle Up Biathlon versus
Come
the
on,
Hill
people.
Sprint of 2009. So here's what you're going to have to do. Those of you guys watching on YouTube right now, go to Bubs Naturals Instagram account. They're going to create a poll. You have 3 minutes to pick which one you prefer between Muscle Up Biathlon and the Sandbag Hill Sprint of 2009, and we will return with the winner of that in 3 minutes. So we'll go over to the Get With The Programming region. Starting with 116, we have push-pull versus the rope sled. Now, the rope sled is the event that was in the track. Was this 2012?
2012.
Where it was rope climbs, 20-foot rope climbs. Were they legless yet? No, they were just rope climbs. They're just
They were just rope climbs.
Really high rope climbs. And then it's basically a lineman sled push 20 yards down the field for about 5 rounds. And then push-pull was the ascending reps and deficit of strict handstand push-ups and sled pulls across the tennis stadium. I think it went
The sled got
7, 8, 9,
heavier
10.
too.
Or was it 6? Was it 5 rounds? 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, as the deficit would increase an inch. And then the rope sleds across and then did they get heavier?
I think they did.
Yeah.
Get heavier?
Yeah.
So we got
Yeah.
push pull versus rope
Yep.
sled 1 through 16. Bill, it starts with you.
Rope sled. All I remember on that one is Neil Maddox having to do 19 different rope climbs because he couldn't stop on the way down.
The best reaction was his judge, who like explained to him, you have to hold control, but have control below the black thing. He's like, black tape. Okay, got it. And then he goes, Neil goes back up and comes down and just slides right down. And the judge just goes, I gave him the.
What are you
I
doing?
thought we just discussed this.
Oh man. Like I like the idea of that event. Then you have Matt Chan, who basically picks the thing up and he's barely the tip is barely on the ground at all as he drags that whole thing. I like what it was, but I didn't really like the way it was set up. I mean, if we had to compare these two events, push pull, hands down, the way it looked, where it was, the races, the fact that they were able to have all those sleds on the ground and they didn't get all jacked up and tied up between everyone, I have no idea. But push pull 100% knocks rope sled right out of the water.
I'll follow that. Push pull 100% push pull. Rope sled was cool, unique, different, but I'm saving my push pull soapbox for later. I'm gonna say push pull right now. Sean.
Yeah, I feel like push pull is the Duke powerhouse teams from the late 90s.
Yeah, there we go.
Like, that's a solid number 1 seed, and they are just blowing that number 16, Florida A&M out of the water. Like they just thanks for coming to the tournament.
Thanks for the
Enjoy your
warm
free
up.
swag. Now we're moving on. Yeah, push pull is one of my all-time favorite events, and the race that ensued between Rich and Josh was I love that event. God, it was so fun.
All right, Tommy.
Yeah, as much as I want to root for the underdog and like Coastal Carolina, the Coastal Carolina Chanticleers, I mean, you're getting blown out by like 40. I mean, if I'm in a Vegas sports book, I'm hammering the favorite to cover with the house here on this one. And I like Chase said, I got more on push pull later, but this one was easy.
I don't know how the rope sled even got in there. I mean, listen to what we just said. How the hell did that even get in the mix?
I like that event.
It in.
I did too.
Huh?
I like that event, but I don't like it more than push pull.
Do not. Yeah.
No.
All right. Push pull advances, and we move to the 2:15 matchup, and that is Burden Run versus the Dog Sled. So the Dog Sled was in the tennis stadium. This was 2011 when they had the painted tennis stadium floor with like the vinyl stickers everywhere. So that added a little bit of a unique element for the sled pushes. But this is that iconic Chris Spieler head against the sled, David and Goliath moment for Spieler in the tennis stadium. But let's see. What was the exact components of that? Of Dog Sled.
I have it right here. So 4 times, 3 rounds, 30 double unders, 10 reps at 135, 95 overhead squat, 10 handstand push-ups, 40-foot sled push.
That's right. And then bird and run was what, a 1.5 mile run, 100-yard pig flip into a log carry with 100 pounds and 80 pounds. Then you get into the tennis stadium and you take that Iditarod sled all the way across. So let's see. Oh, I guess it was me. Yeah, me. I'm going bird and run all the way. I don't need to overcomplicate it. That's one of the nastiest. If there was ever a moment where Dave was like, just get out there and explore the space. You know?
You took the words right out of my mouth.
That was one. It was like, I tell you what, here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna start in the parking lot, run across that. We're gonna go to the track. We're gonna flip some pigs. We're gonna go back, and then we're gonna go into the soccer stadium and pull some stuff. It was just a long, brutal, very CrossFit-y, gritty event. So I'm going bird and run. Sean.
Yeah, if push-pull is the Mike Krzyzewski Duke Blue Devils of the 90s and early 2000s, I would say that, not to give anything away here, that the bird and run are the John Wooden UCLA Bruins. Like this is a powerhouse. Bird and run is just, punch their ticket to the next round and beyond.
Tommy.
You took my more cowbell reference. I was, all I could think of was Bruce Dickinson and Christopher Walken. Guys, really, explore the space.
Explore the space.
I'm telling you, you're really gonna want that cowbell.
That's one of those.
Oh man,
I could do.
That was literally the exact analogy. I have a picture of Christopher Walken in front of me right now, just to get me in the mood. And Chase, you robbed me of that joy.
I'm so sorry.
But I resonate with everything you said. Bird and run going away.
All right, Bill.
Bird and run, 100%. So many good things. Dog sled, just didn't hit the mark on a lot of things. Too many things that went wrong in the setup of what it was. The bird and run was it was long, and it was, I don't want to say convoluted. There were a lot of different pieces. But, man, the race was fun. Good stuff. Bird and run.
All right. Bird and run will advance, and we just got the results of our poll online.
Come on.
The Muscle Up Biathlon.
What? Come on, people.
Second round.
Come on.
People have spoken.
I got your back.
All right. Bird and run advances. Muscle Up Biathlon advances.
Who's handling the vote counters?
Bunch of grade A bullshit. All right. We are going to the 3:14 matchup. Man, I tell you what, Bill, you're going first on this one, and good luck. We have the Battleground versus the Clean Speed Ladder. Now, the Battleground is basically that souped up sprint course where it was dummy, or what was it, Rescue Randy? Mm-hmm. Sled push, rope climbs, run, obstacle course, run, rope climbs,
Rescue Randy.
Everybody wearing Rescue Randy in body armor. Let's see, Sandbag or the Clean Speed Ladder was the 2014. It's the first time we had that speed ladder thing introduced, and that was the moment where Rich thought he got cut, made it in, and then the Cody Anderson coming onto the scenes, and then just all those battles back and forth to the end. Bill, Clean Speed Ladder or
Battleground.
Battleground.
I'm going Battleground. I mean, I like the fact, I'm coming from a fire background, so I love the fact that they had the Rescue Randy in there and had everyone pull that. Amazing. I think that was a great way to put in the obstacle course. It was that, hey, Spartan people, you're not the only one that does, obstacles and have to do different things like that. So, granted, our people fell off the rope, off the cargo net, and came down a little harder than we probably wanted them to. But as far as what it was and how the race was and all that, I thought that that was just way more fun to watch. The Battleground was just cool. The Clean Speed Ladder, I think those are fun, but as exciting as they are, I just don't think that it's a best event of all time kind of a thing. Not memorable enough for me. Battleground.
I'm going fanboy sports bookie on this one. I'm going Clean Speed Ladder because for me, you guys calling it's different. It's different than when you're watching in the stands, because we were placing bets on horses the whole time. I never had more fun watching an event than I did the clean speed ladder. I love the battleground. It was super cool, but as like a fan watching from the outside, meh, people running around. Some people fell off a cage. That made it one of the best like fluffy duck videos of all time.
Right.
But
True.
Me,
True
the
that.
clean speed ladder, have never had more fun with the people around me watching an event and like screaming for people and placing bets on who our horse was. Like, this is my horse round 1, but when it gets heavier, he's screwed. He's just really fast, but he's weak, and that guy's super strong. So I had clean speed ladder. Actually, for me, it's the my pick.
All right.
Sean,
I'm going battleground on this one.
Good man.
I thought, you talk about the first time we ever saw or heard people boo at the games. This is the first time we saw some athletes almost, we had Lucas Hoegberg and Cole Sager get a little, elbow with each other.
Yeah.
Like, oh yes, go fight. They didn't do that obviously, but it was cool to see that a little bit. I love the layout of the event. I thought it was one of those that on TV came across really well. Obviously no one's ever going to forget Matt Fraser and Patrick Veller doing headers off the cargo net. I thought it was a great finish with Laura Horvath.
yes,
Coming and performing the way she did, and then to see Cole Sager perform the way he did it at the end of that, kind of drag and rescue Randy across the finish line. There's some great visuals there and some really good races. So I'm going battleground. I do like the speed ladders. I think that was a really cool, like when that first came out. It's a really cool concept, fun to watch.
Yeah.
But just something. The battleground it's a really good event.
All right, Tommy.
So this was a tough one. When I saw the ranking of the clean speed ladder, I thought that it deserved a higher seed. Just the atmosphere. I think some of the moments it provided. A lot of people will talk about the 325 Cody Anderson, but before that, the round before that, Chris Spieler on the final bar as well. And that honestly felt like it was like Chris was going to be his last year as an individual. And we're like, where's that like underdog guy that we're looking for? And it felt kind of fitting that Cody Anderson stepped up in that moment. And it's tough because I don't think the clean speed had much, and this is where my criteria is different, because like I talked about earlier, it didn't have much of an effect on the overall weekend to me. It was really cool. It was really novel, but in the end, Neil Maddox and Jeff Evans were the two guys racing for the finish. And it was just like, okay, you're kind of specialists in this regard. Yeah. And you're not really going to play into the overall, you're not playing spoiler right now. Rich did just enough. At that time, we really didn't know how good Matt Fraser was, even though he did really well. He was either third or fourth in that event. To me, it comes down to I'm going to go with the battleground. It was Madison's version of the Burden Run in terms of exploring the space.
Yeah.
And to me, it's the Terminator 2 of the O-Course movies. It was so much better than the first one. It made you forget about so much better the second time around. It made you forget about the first one a little bit, because there's so much more iconic moments in that version than the first year around. So you said, the memes, all the moments we've already talked about. Laura Horvath, it was like her, her debutante as an elite CrossFit athlete. So I really enjoyed that one a lot.
Are you saying the second Terminator was better than the first?
100%. T2 way better.
You're all wrong.
Judgment Day.
I got you, Sean.
First one.
Judgment Day.
Am I alone on this?
No way. I'm with you, Sean.
Thank you, Bill. All right.
T1,
Linda Hamilton and T2. I mean, come on. The one-arm shotgun with Linda Hamilton alone is better than any sequence in there.
And your motorcycle.
Yeah, no.
I had nightmares about the T1000.
Okay, I tell you what. Hey, Bubs, I know this isn't an official thing, but we need to go back to the Bubs Natural Voting Board. Because, all right, so Bubs, we need you to put up a poll. Terminator 2 or Terminator 1?
See, this is where Bill and I can tell you right away. Bill and I are going to lose because most likely
it's an age thing.
It's an age thing. The first Terminator is so much better than the second.
When the first one came out, it was like you guys saw it on like VHS or something. We saw it in the theaters the first time. And it was like,
good.
Oh man, that's gnarly.
Well,
all right, let's move on.
He absolutely will not stop.
Right, exactly.
Battleground will advance over clean speed ladder. And now we go to the 413 matchup, 2-2-2-3 intervals versus the climbing snail. Interval 1, you had 20-foot rope climbs, 2 of them. It was like an 8 cal ski erg, and then max overhead squats at 155 and 105 up to 75 reps. 2 minutes to complete, minute break, 2-2, and then a 3-minute to finish out. The climbing snail was that snail drum push to the hybrid ropes in Zeus in the middle of the soccer field. The run around the berm, back, rope climb, and then push. That's right? Is it just on and around? Was that it? A little out and back? I feel like there's more rounds than that.
For climbing snail?
Yeah.
No, I think they ran and then they do the pig flip and then they got to the
No, that's soccer chipper.
Yeah, soccer chipper.
Climbing snail, definitely. Yeah, there was.
So Sean's definitely not picking climbing snail.
I know. I'll be honest with you. I think that. I'm not. I don't know. I don't really. The only thing I remember about the 2-2-2-3 intervals is the fact that every time I said it, I had to count in my hand how many times it said 2 to make sure that I did 2 more. And that Noah Olson
times and then 3 once.
Yeah, then Noah Olson totally collapsed.
Yes, he did.
That was his oops a daisy moment. So.
Yep, I'll go with 2-2-2-3 interval. It was really cool to have an interval workout in there that nobody could really game too much, unlike the 2011 final event, which is just a total travesty. Thank you, Pat Barber. McAvoy did it right though. So I'll go with 2-2-2-3 interval. A climbing snail was really fun to watch for me just because I always like to see whatever that new element Rogue was going to make. And then we had those hybrid climbs where the rope was well out of your reach, but once you got high enough, you could start using your legs if you got there. So a unique event, but I really enjoyed the 2-2-2-3 interval.
Yeah, I'll take the intervals too, but just going on record.
All right. Tommy?
Yeah, I'm a 2-2-2-3 interval guy. There wasn't like you said, there wasn't. It's almost like it was kind of like it was like a choose your own adventure light. You know, like you could. Everyone, there was a few people that maybe took a chance there, like Noah Olson's famous collapse and him coming out so hot early on, maybe like trying to potentially finish it early, I guess, which obviously failed miserably. And I liked the only bad thing I didn't like about it was the name. Like it was I liked climbing snail because to me, that like when I think about how impressive Sam Briggs's back-to-back fourths were when she was so much like almost a decade older than the girls who were ahead of her on the podium at that point in time. And climbing snail was one of her like hallmark events during that 2-year run when she won that event.
Yeah.
And I think it was similar to like the Midline Madness event. It was a similar story for her there too. But beyond that, it just didn't have enough bite to me for something like the 2-2-2-3 intervals that quite literally dictated the podium, that result. That dashed someone's podium dreams. And I hope that it's a format that comes back in the future.
I agree. Bill?
2-2-2-3 all the way. I think that's the first time we've ever had like an interval setup. I know you're talking about the finals in 2011, but those were all individually scored. This was, you got shoved into those intervals. And as we have seen, and if you've done this in like any kind of training, they are the gnarliest workouts you can do.
Oh yeah.
And I love the effect that it had on everyone. And I love that it, you get that rest and it makes these really good athletes that have such great capacity anyway. It pushes them up to that next level and you get to see them run at that level for the entire event and what it does to them when they do that. Cause if they aren't used to doing that. So I loved what it was, loved how it looked, loved the outcomes, loved how exciting it was. 2-2-2-3.
All right. Sweet for 2-2-2-3 interval. We moved to the 5-12. Did I get it right? Or
it's a 2 and 2 and 2.
Put your fingers up.
Yes,
Okay. We have the 5-12 seed. We have Happy Star versus the Soccer Chipper. Ooh, Happy Star was a 2020 games event where it was 4 rounds of a undisclosed distance up the hills at the ranch into burpees over a beam, and then thrusters where the reps would increase and the weight would increase. And then the Soccer Chipper was the 50-yard pig flip into
2.0, right? The red one.
Yeah, the red pig, the big like giant red refrigerator.
Yeah.
into the, what was it, 2 legless rope climbs on a thick rope, followed by 2 with a thin rope, and then that 60-foot handstand walk, that
100 foot.
100 foot.
Yes,
Yeah.
Did the 50 feet had to be unbroken, or was it 3 33-foot sections? I can't remember. I know there's an unbroken element to it. I can't remember.
I think it was 50 feet. I think there was only 2.
I think it was just 2 as well. For me, I'm gonna go soccer chipper. I'm gonna upset Happy Star. Like, Happy Star was cool. It was unique. The test was tough. It really annoyed me that it was Happy Star, which is a 5-point object, and we only had 4 rounds. So I'm gonna let my OCD dictate something that was really fun to watch at the soccer stadium, and I'm gonna go soccer chipper. Bill.
As exciting as soccer chipper is, with the Matt Fraser elements to it and all that, I gotta go Happy Star. I don't really like the name, but I liked what the event was. I think it's an event that no one else can do anywhere else unless they are at the ranch, because no one has the exact same setup. So you'll have all these people all over the world say, oh, I did this run that was this far or that far, and look at my time compared to whatever. It's like, no, you didn't do this event this way, at these inclines, at this setup. And it's very classic. You have some running up a hill, you have some thrusters, you have the burpees. I just love how it was set up. So I'm going to go Happy Star. Loved what it was.
All right, Sean.
I think I got to go soccer chipper. I like this. I like the fact that I like Happy Star as an event. I think it got hurt by the fact there was only 5 people doing it. There was no fans. I think about the soccer chipper, and I think about this soccer stadium, all the people on the field, those pigs moving down the field, and you got to the rope. And, that was the one event. Happy Star really had, I guess you could argue it did have a bearing on the race, because that leaderboard changed all the time. But the soccer chipper, that was where Matt had his collapse. Like, that's where that started. And that's what allowed Ben Smith to win the CrossFit Games. And I will never forget Matt Fraser just sitting there, not being able to climb the rope, and how shocked I was at that.
Mm-hmm.
And I just liked the event. I liked kind of the odd objects. I liked how they started with the pig, the second iteration of it. And it was cool seeing people flip those and people struggle. And I think Matt struggled with that as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm going to go soccer chipper. I just thought it was from a fan and a viewer standpoint, I think it was a better experience.
Okay. Tommy.
Yeah. So and maybe it was just different because I was watching this from home for the 2020 game, this last year's game. So I watched Happy Star from home. That workout just didn't do a lot for me. Okay. I think, like Sean said, that was one that would have benefited from a full field, the environment, and something about it just didn't quite click for me at the time. And maybe because the fan viewing at home experience, I think, could have been a little bit better. I felt like I was seeing the hill over and over and over again at that point. I will say I'm going to go with soccer chipper. Everyone talks about mass collapse, but I don't think enough credit is given to Ben Smith for taking advantage of the moment.
Yeah.
To me, that was above anything else. To me, that was Ben Smith's championship moment. It's one thing for Matt to place low. It's a whole nother thing for Ben to win the event and maximize his point game. And he did that. And I think about some of the imagery of his championships, him pointing, celebrating which is completely out of his wheelhouse. Yes. That was like, oh, you can win now. Like you let him back in the game, and he's riding high. And to me, that was where he got it. And even if you go back and look at that time, I think it was like 4:30 on that event. That is absurd. That is
fathom that.
Try and flip that pig 100 feet, the 4 climbs and the 100-foot walk in 4:30. Still to this day, that's like, whew, that was peak.
If you asked me to flip the pig one time, I couldn't do it in 4 minutes and 30 seconds.
Well, it starts with a deadlift. So.
Yeah. So get to my knees, and then what do I do? Blow out. Tommy, you're 100% spot on. We talked about those championship moments, and that definitely was Ben Smith. And I thought the same thing. Seeing him celebrate, I was like, oh, that's different. And that's dangerous if Ben Smith is getting hyped. All right, so we have an upset. We have a 12-5 upset. Soccer chipper over Happy Star. All right, 6 and 11. Ooh. I like these different modality ones. So we have the triple threes versus the sandbag move, specifically the 2010 sandbag move.
Okay.
Triple threes was a 3,000-meter row, 300 double unders, and 3-mile run, the infamous Rich walking event. And then the sandbag move was basically just take all that shit over there and hopefully your wheelbarrow doesn't break and put that over there. Sean, I'll go with you.
Unfortunately, like 2010 was a year I was thinking about going to the games, but I didn't as a fan, but I didn't end up making it. So didn't really have an experience with that event other than just the historical stuff. The triple three, I think was a great event. The way it was, the test itself, the way it was set up, they had it outside, they had all those rowers set up outside the StubHub Center. Then they did their double unders and then they ran around, and that there's just so many more memories that I have from that event. Rich walking, and I think Bill and I were calling that from the tennis stadium, and you could hear the crowd reaction when they cut to that shot of Rich walking. You heard the
wow,
and it was pretty cool to be able to hear that in the booth. Then I remember who was it? Was it Nate Schrader got passed by? I think it was it Anna Tunnicliffe or Kristen Holta? I remember just poor Nate Schrader.
Probably both.
That big shaker of a man out there just trudging along. He's like, "Are you freaking kidding me right now?" Like people are passing him. They had the great sprint at the end between the women. I think did Rob Forte win that for the men?
Yeah.
Yes. His only event win. Yeah. So he won that.
Yeah.
It was a great test. It was simple and it was a good, I think, longer event that was fun to watch. So I'm going to go with triple three.
All right. Tommy.
This one was tough for me. This was probably one of the closest overall. I have such fond memories of that sandbag move in 2010, just because it was my first year at the games. I was volunteering with Rogue that year, and I can attest that I did not build Matt Chan's wheelbarrow. That was 100%. Pat Sherwood.
He did?
So do with that information what you will, Matt.
Plump, right under the
bus. Disintegrates. And ultimately, I remember looking at the sandbag move and thinking, wow, this is so cool the way they're utilizing the stadium in this regard. And I don't know if they'll be able to do it again to the same effect. They ended up repeating in 2015, but they had to do it at a particular time when there was less people in the stands. And I love the triple three a lot too. It was just really close for me, but I think the nostalgia factor for me in 2010 and the simplicity of I grew up in a farm town, just doing that kind of work is something I was just like, it's so cool to see CrossFit Games athletes doing that, and something I can relate to in that regard. So for me, it's the sandbag move.
Okay, Bill.
100% the sandbag. I loved that race. And it's weird because I've been very vocal about my not liking choose your own adventure type of events. And this kind of had that. You could try to put all your bags in the wheelbarrow at one time, or you could take multiple trips or whatever. But what I loved most about it was I got really excited for the 2009 games when they said there was going to be an event that you could not do and that no one had done as far as a work event. And I remember trying to figure out what that event would look like. And one of the ones that I just had in my head was taking pieces of a tractor or something and moving them from one place to another, or moving a dirt pile from one place to another, something like that. So when this came up, I was like, that right there, no one has trained for this. No one has been tested on this. No one is ready for this. So if you want to test how you can use all of that fitness and put it to work and race that, now we have that. And granted, it wasn't a perfect execution with, the wheelbarrows and stuff busting up and all that kind of stuff. But what it was and how it was thought of and what it looked like and the way it looked, honestly, I think it was amazing. I loved that event. To this day, that's one of my favorite ones.
Okay. I'm torn I'm really torn because I have an emotional attachment to triple threes. That's my home. It's long distance, it's no barbells, it's rowing, it's double unders, and it's long runs.
Me too.
Like that's just a nice, warm, comfortable blanket for me.
Comfort food.
However, and I have this stigma with Sandbag Move because for me, there's never been more of a FOMO moment in my sports career than watching the Sandbag Move after I'd just been cut
That's
CrossFit
right.
Games in 2010 to my strong 33rd place finish at the CrossFit Games. So that was tough because, you know, I just did a deadlift event that I lost and got cut, where there's an event that I was like, felt like I was born to do. And there's nothing more epitomizing if I'm going to stay in the same vein of things that I like about classic CrossFit, about moving large loads, long distances quickly. You can't really get more simple in just bare bones work ethic and grit than just moving that over there as fast as you can. I'm going to go Sandbags as well. So Sandbags will go, they'll advance 3-1.
I'm good with that.
2 updates for you. The millennials have spoken. Terminator 2.
They don't know what they're talking about. I'm sorry, you're wrong. And I will.
Terminator 2 won our little fun poll on the side. And
on your soul.
And after our happy start upset, there are no more perfect brackets, I was told.
Oh no. Okay.
Oh, by the way, the 216 brackets that we have in this. So all you guys watching and all you guys listening, by the way, just for registering, Bubs Naturals is going to shoot you a little email for thanking you for playing and maybe give you a little extra bonus discount code. Get on that website.
Nice.
Yeah.
We have ours, but this one's a little bit extra just for you guys for playing along. So you still get some stuff even though your bracket's busted. Sandbag Move will advance. We've got 2 more here. Now the first round will take the longest because we're sharing stories and memories, and then it's going to start getting fast, and I think it's going to start getting aggressive. I hope it gets aggressive. That's what I'm hoping for. That's why I have it here. All right, 7-10 matchup. We have 2-stroke pull. That was the assault bike, hand over hand sled pull runs, 400-meter runs. That epic battle between Laura Horvath and Katrin David's daughter, and then Lucas Hogberg was just putting it on the table for everybody to see. And then we have Amanda, which was the opening event of at the time, the Home Depot Center, which was a Friday Night Lights, flyovers, national anthem, 3, 2, 1, go, of the tiniest little pull-up rig you've ever seen that graced the CrossFit Games.
It was adorable.
And Amanda being the 975 ring muscle-ups and squat snatches at 135, the infamous Jason Khalipa almost murdering a cameraman, and Dave Castro being the floor announcer and losing his voice after the first 3 heats. And then me being in a heat with Graham Holmberg being like, who's this guy that I think is what was that 90s band that Everclear? That's what Graham
wow.
Like the lead singer of Everclear.
Yeah.
I was like, buy you a new car. I love that. I love that jam. By the way, you're really fast. All right. I will go. Obviously I have a very personal connection with Amanda because that's the one and only time I got to really compete at the CrossFit Games, and maybe events too, because it wasn't soon after where I didn't compete anymore. But as a fan, watching 2-stroke pull, sitting next to like Justin Berg and Dave Castro, and like everybody was in the booth while you guys were broadcasting it, and we're all just watching this rookie take it to one of the best CrossFit athletes to ever compete at the CrossFit Games. And that was Laura Horvath and Katrin David's daughter. And then seeing the Lucas Hogberg be like, okay, we've been waiting you to fail all weekend, and now I feel like you've really just established yourself as like, I'm here. This isn't a fluke. I had a lot of fun watching 2-stroke pull, as much as fun as I had doing Amanda in the stands. You know what? Fuck it. I'm going Amanda. I have a very special connection with Amanda.
I love it.
My dad got to watch me compete at the most important sporting event in my entire life at a Friday Night Lights event. And yeah, I had a lot of fun watching two-stroke pool, but I achieved a father-son childhood sports dream to compete in front of my dad. So I'm going Amanda just because that's a personal thing for me. I'm throwing it all out of the window. That's mine.
Oh.
All right. Sean.
I'm going two-stroke pull. Amanda, I think in 2010, great idea. Maybe not the best execution, just because of the that little Tinker Toy rig that they had out there, and it was before they figured out like you had to have the floor marked off a certain way. Two-stroke pull was a great event, and to watch that race between Laura Horvath and Katrin Davidsdottir, where Katrin, I think, got to the bike on the final round first, but then Laura was like right behind her and just put the pedal down, it was the sled. She got the sled first, and then Laura came running right behind her, just overtook her and won that event. But that was awesome. And then it was hard not to be cheering for Lucas Hogberg. He's such a great dude. And you're right. Everybody was like, well, he's not gonna finish there. Like let's not get ahead of ourselves. And then that event happened. You went, maybe Lucas Hogberg is going to be on the podium. Yeah. I love that. Anything where you're pulling a sled, I'm a big fan of that. So I'm going to go two-stroke pull.
All right, Tommy.
So I don't want to give too much away, but I don't think either one of these picks is making it out of the next round for me. So I'm going to go with I'm going with my heart here, and it was Amanda, because as much as I love two-stroke pull, and I thought it was it was a force of nature type moment for Laura Horvath. We were like, who is this person that's just sweeping, like winning multiple events and doing so just with this ease and just kind of youthful vigor, I guess. Amanda was the first ever event that I ever watched at the CrossFit Games in person. And I remember I was on the floor. I would just gotten down there to help Rogue for the weekend. And I remember like sitting there as like with my butt like right by the jib, which I found out was a danger zone later on. Seeing the flyover, Castro calling 3, 2, 1, go like immediately after the flyover got done, and just seeing it go, that was like there's like the moment like you knew like you're hooked, like there was no going back, and that was that moment for me. And I think Amanda has become it's hard to say there's been a more influential modern workout. Like I think of like in a memorial type workout, you already had the girls workouts that were so established. And then you had this memorial workout in honor of a CrossFit Games athlete, and Amanda Miller. And its usage in regionals, it's beefing up for Amanda 45. It has been the groundwork for this high complex barbell and gymnastics couplet that has really been a kind of a cornerstone of CrossFit Games programming at all levels since 2010.
All right, Bill.
Amanda.
Oh,
not even a question. Not even a question. I just think it's so iconic for what it is. I love the races in two-stroke pool, but I don't think that it was. I don't think it was anything that's, to me, I don't think it was anything that special. I mean, we've seen so many, just like what Tommy said, so many different iterations of Amanda, because it's such a great programmed event. We've seen it for masters. We've seen it, for the age groups. We've seen different versions of it. It's used in training a ton. I just think that it is I agree. It's a cornerstone. It is a version of Fran that will always be around.
Wow. All right. Yeah. See, I thought I was just sending my vote out because I thought
I'm surprised it took you that long to come up with that. I was shocked.
Well, I was like, well, here's the thing. Like, I really like two-stroke pull, maybe as just like an event and watching it more than Amanda, but like I have too much personal connections to that event myself. Totally. So, all right, Amanda will upset two-stroke pull, or 10-7, and our last one on this round. We have the Hopper from 2007, the very first event ever of the CrossFit Games, which is a 1,000-meter row, 5 rounds of 25 pull-ups and 7 push jerks at 135 and 85 against the 21-15-9 complex, which is very complex to explain to you guys, but it's a triplet of deadlifts, cleans, and snatches, and pull-ups, chest to bar pull-ups, and bar muscle-ups, going down from 21 to 15 to 9. Let's see. Tommy, you're up first. 21-59 or Hopper?
This is so tough. I felt like this was the best like 8-9 seed matchup for me, as far as like, I love the 21-59 complex. That was like, when you think about comebacks, like that was when Rich really kind of like started to get back into that charge mode for him making that comeback. And he was not in the final heat, you know, and that the significance of that was so heavy. You know, Camille, you know, doing the whole thing without the transition, coming off the bar. But I mean, literally one of the foundational elements that they teach at the level 1 is the hopper, you know, and the concept around its application, you know, in testing fitness. And I think the dreamer in everyone in the back of their mind at some point always wonders, are they going to roll that dusty old peanut roaster back out and just start pulling balls out, and we're not going to know what's going to come out. So to me, I think the allure and the looming threat of the hopper is what pushes it over the top for me. So I'm going to take the hopper.
All right, Bill?
Yeah, the hopper. It's for what it is. Like, I honestly don't think that in any of it would be extremely difficult to logistically plan the hopper now, but what it was and what it did and how it was presented and how it was set up in the very foundational verbiage of our sport, it is our sport. Yep. So I got to say the hopper.
All right. Now, for the last 3 of the CrossFit methodology, I've stuck with it. I'm bucking the trend now. I'm going to go 21-15-9 complex, because for me, and this is where I'm all over the board with my picks, 21-15-9 is one of my favorite programmed events of all time. This is something I could have never thought of on my own. I've never bowed down to Dave's creativity more than the 21-15-9 complex. I mean, put in the implications of Rich trying to come back and Camille dominating and all that other things. I never would have thought an event like that, the way the numbers work, the way the movements played off each other, and the way they advance down the floor. It's my favorite program, probably my favorite just nuts and bolts program event of all time. I'm bucking my hopper methodology, you know, out of the bucket trend, and I'm going with that one. John?
Yeah, I got to go with you on this one, Chase. We're going to put this to the fans.
While
I appreciate what the hopper is and what it means and what it signifies, if you're asking me what event did I enjoy more, I'm going to go with the 21-15-9 complex. Now, I had to throw this out there. Whoever wins this is going to run into a juggernaut in the next round. So enjoy your one win.
All right. So those of you guys watching, go to Bubs Naturals Instagram account. On their story, they are creating a poll, and it will be the hopper versus the 21-15-9 complex. And you will have 3 minutes on their clock to decide. And that will be the last one of round number 1. So here's what we have so far. In round 2, all right. Now, we've gone through all our memories and stories of this one. So as we advance from 2, 3, 4 to 5, now we're just picking horses.
Now we're just picking horses.
We got our. So we might do some swaying with each other's votes, but we've got all our memories. So here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna start round number 2 on the Talking Elite Fitness region as we await the results of the hopper versus 21-15-9 complex, and we have our first matchup, first cut versus the muscle up biathlon.
It's a 1 versus an 8, right?
It's a 1 versus 8. Yes, you're right. 1 versus 8. First cut versus muscle up biathlon, and it'll be me. Ooh. Oh, damn.
Call it. Come on.
I'm gonna go with first cut for all the reasons we said before, the magnitude of that event and what it turned out to be versus an event that was super fun to watch. First cut. Oh, Sean.
Boom.
Muscle up biathlon.
Tommy.
First cut.
Bill.
First cut.
Okay. Woo. First
I bought
cut.
muscle ups.
I don't know how that's a #1 seed. I really don't.
First
Great
cut?
event, but I mean, yeah, it's a great event, but come on.
Oh
Who's on
man.
the selection committee? Oh,
Oh, wait.
whoops.
Okay, first cut will advance over muscle up biathlon. Matchup number 2. We have our 2 seed versus our 7 seed. Chaos versus rope clean. Sean.
Chaos. Give me chaos. Great event. Great spectacle. Great viewing experience. Just summed up CrossFit for the lay person just tuning in on CBS, national television. Yeah, awesome.
Tommy.
Rope clean. Rich Froning's rampage begins.
Oh, Bill.
Chaos. It's CrossFit. So no noble.
I had chaos. I got chaos as well. So chaos 3-1 on rope clean. Next matchup, we have Strongman's Fear 3 seed versus the 6 seed of Killer Cage. Going to you, Tommy.
Strongman's Fear.
Strongman's Fear. Bill.
Strongman's Fear.
Ooh.
Yes.
I'm going Killer Cage. Just fanboying out the whole time. Killer Cage for me. John?
Yeah, I'm going to go Strongman's Fear.
All right. Strongman's Fear will advance. So Chaos advance, Strongman's Fear advances. And now we have Legless versus the Marathon Rope. 5-4 seed. Bill, you're stuck with this round.
Marathon row.
Oh, really?
Yeah. That's that. Yeah. Yeah, I got him. I got to do it.
Surprised by that.
All right.
Gotta
I'm
do
going
it.
to go with Legless. Sean.
I love both of these events. I really do. And I feel like if I had 2 kids, I'm picking between my children. I got to go Legless just because of the memories and the visuals of it. Man, one of the great regrets of my career is that we didn't do the whole marathon row. But yeah, I got to go Legless.
All right. Tommy.
Come on,
Not
Tommy.
quite the Sophie's choice that Sean had. I'm sorry, Bill. It's Legless. Legless is one of my favorite events. It's one of my favorite events of all time. It's top 3 for me.
So Legless will advance.
All right.
Strongman Fear will advance, and Chaos will advance. As we shift towards the other side, we have Burden Run versus Amanda. It's me. I've been nostalgic, but I'm going to go with Burden Run. Sean?
I mean, John Wooden's UCLA Bruins, they're moving on.
Tommy?
Yep. Bill Walton's cryptic weirdness all the way. Burden Run.
Bill?
I'll go Burden Run too.
All right.
Burden Run.
Sweet. Burden Run. Now we'll go to a 6 versus a 3 seed. Sandbag Move versus the Battleground.
Oh.
Who's that to? Me?
That is Sean.
I'm going to go Battleground on that one.
Tommy.
This one's tough, but it's Battleground for me too.
Woo. Bill.
Sandbag.
Oh, man.
I like it.
White knuckling that event.
I like it.
Sandbags.
The hurt in my heart is still real.
Come on.
The desire to do it is still there. I'm going to go with Sandbag.
Yeah.
So we have another tie. We have Sandbag versus
A lot of ties in this bracket.
versus Battleground. So guys, go to Bub's Naturals right now. Sandbag Move versus the Battleground. We just got word 21-15-9 is advancing.
Ooh.
Nice. So 21-15-9 beats the Hopper in round 1. As we go to our 4-12 matchup, 2-2-2-3 intervals versus the Soccer Chipper. And it is Tommy's turn.
I'm going the intervals the whole way. This one's tough. Yeah, I'm gonna go intervals.
Bill?
2-2-2-3 for me. Yeah.
I will also go 2-2-2-3. And Sean?
Let's make it unanimous then.
I mean, all right, so
I mean, it's like
sweep.
you're down 30 points. You know,
2-2-2-3. All right. So we have Bird and Run advancing. We have a tie between Battleground and Sandbag. So go to Bub's Naturals and vote now. You have 2 more minutes. 2-2-2-3 versus Soccer Chipper. And now it's coming down to Push Pull versus the 21-15-9 complex. And it is who just went first? Was it Tommy? Bill?
I went first last time. Yeah.
Bill. Push Pull 21-15-9.
This is a hard one.
not.
Because I'm not a fanboy. Because I don't get all fanned out on what it is. Like it was like the push pull is so damn exciting, but I love the way that 21-15-9 is set up. You know what? I'm going 21-15-9.
All right.
Gonna do it.
Bill's 21-15-9. I'm push pull all the way. Sean?
Yeah, I mean, push pull in a route over at halftime.
Oh,
Dangling their keys, you know, you just warm up the bus. 59, you're going home.
I'm going a slightly different route to the same thing. It's the 8 seed, you know, maybe push that 1 seed because, you know, all the lottery picks for the NBA next year maybe stayed out a little late after round number 1 and spent too much time at Magic City. But they woke up in the second half, got maybe an IV injection, and they put them down by 30 in the second half, and push pull runs away with it.
Okay, push pull would advance over 21-15-9 complex. You guys got about 60 seconds to vote between Battleground and Sandbag as we are moving into the Great 8. Ooh. And this is where it's going to get fun. So we're going back to the Talking Elise region, and we're starting with First Cut versus Legless. And that will go to, I guess is it me?
You got it. I think you got it.
No.
Come on, call it up. What do you got, Chase?
Oh, damn. I don't have any quarters in here to flip.
I do. I'll tell you what your choice is.
Heads or heads? Okay, I'm staying with First Cut.
Oh God, you guys. Just.
It's your turn, Sean.
Legless. I mean, I don't know why you're so enamored with that First Cut event. I don't know. I mean, again, I know it did what it was designed to do, but watching that, did you really enjoy watching people just stare at the rope?
This is one
I love watching Legless, which was awesome.
Yep. No, watching Legless is awesome. I'm looking at the programming side on this one. Again,
you gotta take
I have no pigeonhole. I'm screwing up everybody's bracket. Tommy.
Quote Isaac Newton, "If I have seen further than others, it is by standing upon the shoulders of giants. First Cut is only made possible by the introduction of legless rope climbs from Legless. The giant is the Legless event, and Legless moves on for me."
Okay. Legless, 2 for Legless.
No way, man.
First Cut.
2 for First Cut.
Oh my God.
2 for First Cut. There are so many things that were riding on this particular event. And the fact that we had people that could not do the rope climbs.
Was there ever any doubt, Bill? Was it like, I don't know if Matt Fraser's going to advance?
No. Well,
I going to be able to do this?
There's Pat Vellner's dropping the bar. There's, Ben Smith. He's in the first heat. No one knows what he's going to do. He comes in there and shows people what it's all about. And this was the event that is telling people, you don't deserve to be at the CrossFit Games because you won your nation. Like, that's great, spectacular. It needed to be shown. It needed to be shown that those people are like great in their gym, but they need to stay in their country. And First Cut.
This is what I was hoping for.
We're split 50-50 by podcast this time.
Yeah, we are.
Yeah. We are.
Thank you, Tom.
Yes. All right. And obviously, like, we were just looking at the programming side. Okay, so we have another tie. First Cut versus Legless.
Did First Cut have fireworks and the national anthem and lights? And
it had the largest field ever known to CrossFit history going down at one time with the largest, most important roll ever.
No.
Ever.
All right.
Fireworks, Bill.
You guys have the argument. Go to bubsnaturals.com and vote right now. First cut versus legless. Man. Okay. So we're going to go down. Strong man's fear versus chaos.
Oh.
Sean.
Oh man. I'm gonna go chaos. I love both these events. But if you're asking me which one do I want to watch, which one did I think came off better, which one was a better test? For me, I'm gonna go chaos because it was pretty quintessential CrossFit, unknown and unknowable.
Okay. Tommy.
I'm going strongman sphere.
Oh, A2 Brute.
Yeah, to me, I'll be honest. I thought the concept of chaos was beautiful, but the application of it outside of the snail at the end was like, I thought like the pull at the end saved the event, quite frankly. I know what it took. The reason why to me it matters more because I know what it took to pull that off, like behind the scenes, like the effort. So there's something there for me. But outside of that, like, I don't know. I think it's kind of overrated.
All right. Bill.
Between these two, I have to go with chaos. I think Strongman Sphere had great races. I don't like the fact, as much as I like the event with the pieces and all that kind of stuff, I don't like the fact that it was choose your own adventure. Yes, I do think that chaos could have been a little bit more than what it was, even though the application of the idea of it was, I mean, in all reality, I thought it was brilliant as far as what the idea of it was. It wasn't the prettiest. It was a sloppy drawing of it, I think, but I got to go with chaos.
Okay. I'm going to go with chaos as well. So chaos is going to knock out Strongman's fear.
Bye-bye.
We just got the results between Sandbag and Battleground. And the Sandbag advances into the Great Eight. So now we are waiting on the fan vote between First Cut and Legless.
Come on,
Chaos
people.
is advancing into the Final Four.
Can't even believe
as we
got
move
that.
to the Get With The Programming region. We'll start with push-pull versus 2-2-2-3. And that'll be, where do we end on? Oh, me?
Wait, is it Tommy?
Tommy? Tommy, you go. Yeah, you're up. 2-2-2-3, push-pull.
It was a great run, but all good runs have to come to an end for the intervals, and this push-pull is just they can't lose. It's like having Syracuse's 2-3 defense, that zone defense in the tournament. If you don't got 3-point shooters, you're not going to beat them in Jim Boeheim. It's just an absolute nightmare. They are a problem to deal with. That's what push-pull is. Push-pull for me.
All right, Bill.
Between these two,
First cut.
totally. I would say first cut, 100%. No, I'll call push-pull on this one.
There you go.
I'll call push-pull on this one.
All right. I am also going for push-pull, and I'm still waiting for my soapbox when this event gets into the finals. That's all I'm saying. Sean?
Yeah, I'm going 2-2-2 bad. Push-pull wins.
Okay. Push-pull advances over 2-2-2-3. And now we have the Sandbag. Ooh, the Sandbag move versus Burden Run. It is Bill.
Sandbag move.
Wow.
Simple, pretty, does the job. As much as I like Burden Run, there's just too much shit. It's just a sink full of stuff. Come on, man. Move this shit over there. Period. Winner.
Okay.
Sandbag.
Come
on now.
I'm going with Burden Run. Burden Run. Cancel the podcast. Where did it all go wrong? Well, we were playing this game. All right, Sean.
Yeah, you can move that out of here. Burden Run advances.
All right, Tommy.
To all of our behind the scenes media team, they nicknamed the Burden Run the Double Fister.
Oh, that's right.
and
T-shirts were made.
T-shirts were made.
I even that level of disgruntledness with our media team can't shake the fact that like I love the burn and run, and one of the iconic shots for me in like the highlights of the games that year were them like crawling on all fours to bring that sled, people tugging, just trudging forward like they just look like soldiers. And burn and run's one of my favorite events too, and that was Khalipa at his finest. That was peak Khalipa right there.
That was
just a battering ram. No, too far for guns. I'm switching to missiles and blowing this thing up.
Yeah, cave troll-esque Khalipa. That was 100%. All right. Well, Sean, you'll be happy. You got your burden run.
There we go.
However,
yeah, it's gonna be hard in the next round.
The people have spoken, and
I
first
tend to not agree with the people.
Is advancing over legless.
Right on, peoples.
So we have our final four: burden run, push pull, chaos, and the fans just voted in first cut.
Chase, how expensive was it?
For what?
To pay the Russian bot farm to vote for first cut?
Yeah. I mean,
have you seen that documentary? Make Famous, or what is it?
Oh, I've seen highlights. I've seen
Fake Famous.
I've seen clips and highlights of that. People
you want to see something absolutely terrifying, a lot like The Social Dilemma? Watch Fake Famous. It's insane, but it's all about bots. All right, we have our final four. We'll start on the Talking Elite Fitness side. First cut versus chaos. And it is my turn. Bill?
Who just went in the last one?
You go.
I'll
go. Say that. You go. First cut, chaos.
First cut. Coming for you, Sean. I'm coming for you.
I love watching the national champion of Djibouti not be able to climb a rope. That's great TV.
I'm going for old George Mason University first cut as well.
Yeah, I'm sticking with chaos. I mean, I don't know. I just cannot understand why you guys are so enamored with that. I mean, I guess it's the programming angle, but to watch that was laughable. It was laughable, and chaos had great visuals. Something was actually riding on it. Yeah, I am just totally befuddled as to how first cut. I just don't get it. Great event, did what it needed to do, but when you're putting it up against some of these other ones, I mean,
I love watching Sean get fired up.
I just when things boggle my mind like this, when I just can't understand the logic, I just default to anger, I guess.
I have and I've had this theory. Like, have you guys watched what's that movie with Will Ferrell and Mark Wahlberg? The Other Guys?
Oh, the Other Guys.
There's no one who epitomizes Gator than Sean Woodland.
I haven't even seen the movie, so I'll have to go watch it.
He's got it all, the accountant for the police department's got it all put together, but he has this dark side.
That is a fact.
Known as Gator.
Wants some walking around money.
Money.
It's a great event. It did exactly what it was designed to do. But if you're going to ask me to, like, which would you rather watch and enjoy? I mean, that's not even in the top 10.
Well, I know if this shakes out, it might be. I'm going to do like a reaction video of Gator watching the bracket break down. All right, Tommy.
Ooh, this is tough because I've voted for against basically both of these workouts the last two rounds. But ultimately, because I could actually pronounce and had talked about the people that were in lanes 1 through 10 throughout the entirety of chaos, I'm going to go with chaos.
Wow. All right. We have another tie. First cut versus chaos.
Bring us in there, people.
You guys watching?
I'm excited to see how many times Oleg Tartarov.
Hey, can we go back to lane 12 where that guy still hasn't picked up the barbell? Let's go watch that some more.
How many dead people are voting for first cut?
Yeah.
Voter fraud. All right. It will be first cut versus chaos. So go to bubsnaturals.com and vote now.
You vote? You mean our Instagram, right?
I mean,
you have to go wake up the family and tell them to get on the phone and start.
Where's that group text? Everybody will answer. All right. Okay. The other side. Okay. Push pull versus the burden run.
This is painful.
This is a hard one.
This is. I love both.
Okay,
of these.
it's me. Push pull.
Oh wow!
I'm going push pull. For me, it is my favorite event I've ever watched live in person take place. And every time I talk about it, I get goosebumps. And every time I see Josh Bridges yell that Arnold Schwarzenegger-like yell versus the Predator covered in mud with a flaming torch he made out of the jungle, I feel like I could actually deadlift something over 400 pounds. I'm going with push-pull. Sean.
Man, I love both of these events, so I'm not going to be upset at all if the one I vote for doesn't make it. But there is just something so cool about the burden run, the way they utilize every venue except for the tennis stadium, and they actually use it because you ran under it. They had all these cool implements. It was something that I would want to do. You had people like getting their ears basically, mangled because of that wooden log that they were carrying. And then to see like that shot of Jason Khalipa coming out of the tunnel and then getting into the sled, the first guy in the sled and pulling that thing. And I think that was his third straight win or his second straight win that he had at that point? Because he had won, I think it was his second. Anyway, he was on a tear.
Yeah.
And then
that might have started his string of 3 because he won both rows.
I think you're right. Yeah.
Yeah.
So he just the visuals of people pulling the sled, and just I love the variety of it. And it, I think if you're just someone at home kind of tuning in watching, I love push pull, man, it for all the reasons that you said, Chase, and the finish and Josh Bridges' celebration, and it's so awesome. But the burden run has a very special place in my heart because it was, and not only because of what you saw, but what you didn't. And Tommy alluded to that. The effort that went into getting that on air and making that happen was kind of Herculean. So I'm going to go with the burden run, but knowing that I'm okay with either one of these. I love both of these events.
All right.
Burden run at the buzzer.
One burden run. Tommy.
This one's like an instant classic, right? This is the game that gets shown on, NCAA, revisited over and over every year. Like it's part of the highlight package when they tease the tourney every year. It's the 1992 Grant Hill full court pass to Christian Laettner, who hits the turnaround jumper to sink Kentucky in 92. And for me, it's the two-headed monster of Ferroni and Bridges side by side on the podium stand, like as they jump up. One of the added elements that year that I really liked was jumping up onto the platform.
Yes. Yeah.
And it was one of those like little simple things that just elevated it that much more. If you talk what Josh Bridges made a career of his epic celebrations, and to me, that's probably his best ever. And that was a moment that even talk about like after in the interview when he looks up and sees that Rich is back in first.
Yeah.
I mean, front to back, that's iconic for me. I can't vote against push pull.
All right, Bill.
When I look at these two, they're both awesome events. So I have to boil it down to what was the most fun to watch. I think of all the events that I've looked at, like I really haven't gone into that realm. But if I dip into that realm, there's one that makes me look like I'm a kid in grade school watching like two bullies fight. Like everyone's at recess and like, fight. And everyone's all circled up. That's push pull. It was super intimate, super crowded. There was a lot of stuff on the floor. So it just seemed like everyone was in this very tight little circle and everything was going down right there. And it was loud. It was exciting. I mean, it was the tennis stadium. It was at nighttime. The races were insane. It really was an incredible race, an incredible moment to watch. So if I had to pick between these two, I have to go for the one that was by far the most fun, and it would be that one. So even though Sean was asking why I didn't vote that way on the other things, and I haven't on this particular one, I have to say that push pull, man, it was a good one.
push
Yeah.
pull.
Yeah,
will
I have
advance
no problem
to
with
the
that one.
finals.
No problem with that.
And the votes are in on our tie between Chaos and First Cut.
Come on, people.
And in the final event against push pull, Chaos.
There
What?
you go. And
And voted
totally
in by
redeem
the-
yourself.
Wow. Well, I'm done. I'll see you guys tomorrow. I guess I'm out.
Goes Fraser.
Yeah.
So it all comes down to this: push pull versus Chaos in the final matchup of greatest CrossFit Games event of all time. Well, and
Well, this is
Sean, we are
yeah. I
starting.
mean, this
with
made
you.
it. I hate to say this, but it didn't make it easy. It was going to be easy either way. This made it tougher because I think Chaos is a great event. But for everything that you guys said about push pull, that for whatever reason, I never get tired of going back and watching that. It's simple. It's, nothing that is, like with Chaos, they have a bunch of different movements, handstand push-ups, drag and pull a sled. And just the race that was going on between Stoneberg, Froning, and Josh Bridges, and the finish between the two of them to see them, the way they were pulling the sled, Bridges was like leaning back and hauling that thing. And the way that like that night ended.
Yeah.
After, with the celebration on the floor and Rich and Josh were sitting there together, and that event to me, man, I will never forget it. And I have to go with push pull. Chaos, fantastic. I think it was, really a good way to, to explain CrossFit to people, be like, oh, okay, we're going to throw these challenges at them and they don't know exactly what they are. And they're going to figure out how to get through it as they go. But push pull, man, the lights and what was at stake at the time, and the tennis stadiums, it was a special place, and it's hard. If Burden Run honestly is what would have been my first choice. I would have been okay with push pull, and I would have been absolutely fine with legless. So I'm going to go push pull.
All right, Tommy.
I mean, this is not even close to me if I compare Chaos and legless to me. Or sorry, push pull. Push pull wins by a landslide on this one. I think that it had a tougher matchup in the Final Four. This is one of those ones where, like, it was the back-to-back Florida Gators titles with the Joakim Noah days, where like their biggest,
their biggest layups, dunks, and Lee Hunt, man. Their biggest matchup was in the Final Four, and once they got it, it was a done deal, and that's what it is here for me. Push pull wins it by a landslide.
All right, Bill.
If First Cut would have made it, I would have picked for First Cut. Since Chaos made it, I can't, because of that, push pull is way more, it has way more to it than Chaos could do. The idea with Chaos is great. I mean, sometimes you just get the easy side of the bracket. I guess it just lucks out that way. But with these two, I got to go push pull. It was, I mean, everything fun to watch, programmed cool, interestingly programmed, uniquely programmed with the stuff that it had. I mean, the stories, the excitement, where it was, how it was, the time of day it was, all of that. Between these two, push pull all the way.
Hey, clean sweep.
Yeah.
In the finals, push pull for me. And again, you guys, Sean and Bill, you guys were broadcasting this, and I had the pure joy of watching this from probably the best spot you could watch this. I was in a booth with the windows wide open. And when the sound came into that room, it was deafening. Mm-hmm. Absolutely deafening. And I got to sit at the middle, and I watched these sleds go across my face. They weren't going away from me. I got to sit on the 50-yard line, and I have never yelled so loud during an event. I've never heard the crowd so loud during an event, and there was no roof on the tennis stadium. Push pull for me is the greatest CrossFit event I have ever watched.
And just that visual, boys. Remember the sleds? You would see Josh's move and you see Rich's move like a ton. And you're like, oh no, he's gonna catch him.
Yeah. If you guys don't remember, do yourselves a favor, and we'll post this later, why it won and for all the reasons of why it did and how it got here. But that is one of the the best ones to watch if you were there in person, one of the best ones to watch if you've never seen it. If you want to be like, if you want to get someone hooked on the CrossFit Games, send them that. Like, you want to see what some intensity is, right?
Yeah,
You want
it's
to
true.
just see some pure warrior-esque battles going on in the CrossFit Games tennis stadium floor. Push-pull. Wow. Look
Dang.
at that.
I'm happy with that. Not the one, like I said, I had Burden Run winning, but I'm totally fine with push-pull.
Honestly, if Burden Run bucked push-pull, then I'd have been all right with that as well.
I will say this. I saw when Chase first put the stuff together, and that was the push-pull was the very first one I saw. And I was like, oh God, here we go. We're just going to fanboy this whole stupid thing, aren't we? We're not going to be looking at anything. You know, after all of that stuff, I think when I was picking, I was really not wanting to be swayed by that. But as you go down and you have to make these individual picks like this, when you start competing, or when the two start competing like that, there was so much excitement to that one. Yeah. There really was. It was, and that was a good call, Chase. That if you had to get someone hooked on the CrossFit Games, with the excitement, the tempo, the things they're doing. It's not long and drawn out. I mean, people are all over the place and it's cheering. You feel that whether you were at the 50-yard line whether you were at the broadcast booth where we were, if you watched it on TV or the YouTube or whatever, you saw how much power that came out of that. It's nuts.
Yeah. Man,
it was nuts.
What an awesome time that was.
I mean, first cut was great.
Even care if people are listening to this or not. I had a blast,
dude.
Honestly, I would have just done this for fun. Which I did.
Yeah.
Great. Yeah. Good time. And I had no idea you two were so enamored with first cut. I learned something new every day.
Yeah. It's like, I thought you guys were smart when it came to program.
No, look, I get it. Like, that event did exactly what it needed to do. Like, it was the perfectly designed event for the time. I'm just saying, like, if you're asking me to watch it, go back and watch that as compared to push pull and what the level of enjoyment I'm going to get out of that. There's no comparison.
Well, and that's what made the picking so difficult was when Chase said, "What's the greatest?" And I'm like, "Well, like, what do you mean?" He's like, you pick
whatever
it.
you want."
Like, well, what does that mean though? It's like, Like, well, you're not helping me, man. So you're right. I mean, there is a vast difference between the greatest programmed event, the most important event, the one that's the most fun to watch, like all of these things all kind of enter into that. What's the greatest, greatest event? So like, it made it very difficult. And I will say this, I don't know if I picked the same events as I did on my original board, honestly, because you start talking about it, right. you start to kind of, I don't want to say second guess, but you kind of go off in another vein somewhere, and you're like, oh, but this is totally the reason why. Oh, I went over here, and shit, and then all of a sudden, you're picking chaos to the finals. So
people love chaos. Man, when we were talking about earlier today, it was chaos and 2-2-2-3 those are the big favorites.
I mean, chaos still, like, I still love the outline for what it is, but it was a rough draft. I mean, it could have been so much more exciting with different movements, and it was an experiment.
And I think too, with that event, we had a little bit of an advantage in the booth because we knew what was coming.
Totally.
We could anticipate the transitions, and it was sort of easier for us to keep track of from that standpoint. Again, we didn't play any rep counts, but if I'm just a fan watching at home, I could see how that one might lose its efficacy because you're like, well, I don't, what's the score?
Right.
Can't tell you. So,
and I wish they would have been able to. I know they had a lot of people on the field, so they couldn't get real big with like barbells and stuff like that. But that would have changed it too when you go from a really light object to all of a sudden you have to do a heavy. You see a big barbell out there. It's like, well, am I clean and jerking? Am I snatching? What am I doing with that? Mm-hmm. I think that you could have had some other elements that would have made the event even more exciting to see. Again, a great idea, but there's no way that can hold a candle to what push-pull did, to what it did in the big picture, with all of the elements put together. Mm-hmm. So super fun though, man. What a way to go back to all those events and think about all those pieces.
We got to do our worst event now. That's going to
be that would be a good show.
That would be a funny one.
I don't think you're going to really beat softball throw, broad jump, or
I mean, you could probably just start with 8 and go from there.
That's true.
Really,
that's true. Well, hey guys, thanks for doing this. I know it was a lot of legwork to start this off, but again, this was, for me, it was a year of
that was fun
in the making of desiring that we do something like this. For me, and snag you guys if you want to, but like, I think we could do this with the Open. I think we can do this as regionals. I think it might get worse for regionals.
Yeah.
Yeah. I would even argue that some of those regional events were more fun to watch than some of the games events.
I would say that.
Just of the final events that we got to see.
Oh man.
Things like that. So, all right. So as we were going through this, guys, we were scoring it live. Your leaderboards were being updated live, and we do have a winner.
Oh, all right.
And we had a tie.
Ooh.
And the tie break is going to go to the person who picked the most correct number of events, because the scores would increase as you got deeper in. And the tie break between two teams was Keller 123 and a team called Han Swallow.
Oh,
that's a great name.
And the overall winner is Team Han Swallow.
There you go.
By Brandon McFall.
Nice.
Wow. Yeah. So Brandon McFall, you won. We will get in touch with you. You won the VIP prize pack from Bubs Naturals. We want to thank Bubs Naturals for hopping on board and sponsoring the show, giving us a lot of fun stuff. Again, those of you guys that participated in this, you will get an exclusive code just for you with a big % discount off of Bubs Naturals, and a huge, huge shout out to Fantasy Fitnessing. We brought this idea to them maybe like 2 weeks ago. And they were like absolutely on board. They made all those matchup videos. They pumped this out. They built the bracket. And they're also doing an amazing open bracket as well. So they have all these athletes, both American and foreign or European, of who you think is going to advance week to week throughout the Open, person-to-person matchup. So if you guys enjoyed this bracket, there's an even bigger, better one ready for the Open, which, by the way, starts on Thursday. Which I puckered up a little bit, hair there. But those of you guys that voted here, those of you guys that are listening around the world, go to fantasyfitnessing.com, join their open bracket challenge. I already signed up, so I'm still in the mix. I'm okay with a little fantasy gambling, even though there's no money on the line. But if you guys want to put some skin in the game on some side games, I'm happy to do that. But huge thanks to Bubs Naturals. Huge thanks to Fantasy Fitnessing. This was a massive tax. Actually, they're updating this bracket as we're doing this. So they stayed up with us all night to do this. Same with Bubs Naturals. Thank you guys so much. I think the consensus is we will do this again.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
For sure. 100%.
Super fun.
Sean, Tommy, I want to thank you guys for jumping on with us. This made it so much more fun.
That was a blast.
It was really cool to go down memory lane with the events. Then it was really cool to get really pissed off.
I was triggered by first cut, man.
Oh man. So that was good. Those of you guys that are watching on YouTube, thank you guys for playing along. We do appreciate it. Those of you guys supporting the show for both our shows, it means a lot. Like Sean and Tommy said, when they first started, it was just to try to get something or have something to do. For Bill and I, this is a huge passion of ours, talking about CrossFit, talking about programming, and everything in between. So, again, love and respect you guys and everything you've done. Congratulations on your success. And thank you guys for hopping on. Bill, we're going to have some work to do coming up when these open events.
Oh, man, seriously. But it's not going to be 160 whatever, though, so I'm good.
No, it will not. So as we sign off all the time in our shows, we're going to bid you guys adieu. We're going to rock out. Good luck in the Open, everyone. Sign up if you haven't. Let's have some
luck,
fun
everybody.
Here. Get behind your community. Let's turn this thing around for Rosa. Love you guys. Have a great week.
Take us home, Chase.